Right. What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. We've got MAXPAX in the top right side of the map, CLEM in the bottom left. It's the rivalry that goes on and on. But in this case, I'm especially excited because this is, of course, the Monday Night Weeklies number 2, hosted by TKL and in part funded by himself and a bunch of other EU and NA creators who get to cast these games while I'm asleep every week. And I always miss them. We get to cast them off those replays after. So thanks, TKL, for sharing them. This is a best of 3, but what we're going to be doing is we're going to be following the action. So basically, we are going to be following not just this upper bracket finals, but then whoever kind of continues forwards from there and fights it out. So it's a best of 3. Winner goes to the grand finals, and the loser goes to the lower bracket finals, where if they win that match, they will get another shot at whoever won the first best of 3. Now, what will happen in the grand finals is then you'll have to win a best of 3 if you came from the losers bracket, and if you win that, it activates a second best of 3. So potentially we could get 3 best of 3s in a row between these two if the loser of this match wins against whoever they fight in the lower bracket, which will be awesome to see. So we'll see if we get to see a proper rivalry. At least 1 best of 3 between these two here, potentially 2, potentially 3. Depending on how it goes. Now, MAXPAX goes for the early harass. Good pull on the SCV, nice and early. Doesn't have to pop off the barracks, which would, of course, delay the Marine or Reaper. And, oh, the double SCV ambush on the ramp, but a quick turnaround for MAXPAX. Doesn't take the second volley of hits. And I think at this point he realizes, oh, this does look like a command center. He just wants to scout it. He's going to try to force that SCV off the build. But you can see the SCV hits it and then immediately goes back to build. Now, the Marine's hiding himself here. The Reaper, if it can confirm there's a Marine, it's a really nice advantage. It's actually a Zealot first build order. Wow, even before the Nexus started, very early Zealot pressure is going to come across this map. It's a Marine into Reactor, but I feel like that Reactor was actually delayed by a couple of seconds there, and that could be integral in allowing the Zealot Adept to maybe find some damage. It always feels like, for me, one of the big things that makes CLEM so solid in this matchup is his ability to pull a few STVs, defend with whatever Marines he has in the early game, out micro Zealots, Adepts, and whatnot, and come out on top in these early skirmishes. How often do we see CLEM absolutely look like he's being caught off guard, and you think, oh, he's going to fumble this, he's going to lose? No, and he just brings it back against, like, Hero, for instance, so many times, gets an Oracle and kills 6 workers, and then somehow CLEM just gets way more damage with a single Hellion driving into a mineral line or something like that. But MAXPAX already getting the SCV there with the triple Zealot attack. New SCV should be coming to the low ground. You can see he's kind of slow on it. CLEM realizes if I send SCVs down there, I might be feeding them into the meat grinder. Instead, he immediately builds a depot, and he's going to start a Hellion because that's the fastest unit to build. And he just wants any units he can get out. And he realizes that if I go down with 5 Marines and a Hellion, is my command center delayed? Yes. But that's okay. And in fact, he's going to go with just 5 Marines. The Adept does not want to take hits from 5 Marines at once. Such a patient response for a CLEM here. But the second Adept's about to come in. Zealot unable to land hits. It finally lands 1 hit. Oh, another Adept does come in. Adepts are going to stand their ground. Unfortunately, you can see the Marines, though, get on top. And that's going to be a good enough hold, I think, for CLEM. Especially if he gets rid of this last Adept. Looks like he won't quite be able to do it. Oh, unless he can find it. She's running. And the Hellion's chasing across that map. Stalker's at home. Second gateway's up. Blink has started. Robo goes down in the wall off. CLEM doesn't have many Marines. I mean, units lost-wise, very similar trade. I don't think that was the worst trade there for MAXPAX, but you got to keep in mind, it's not like he did much economic damage, just delayed the command center by a few seconds. Medevac coming out. It's kind of a delayed medevac here because of all this early fighting that's going on, but he said, well, yeah, you've lost your early units. I don't care if it's delayed. Delayed can still work if you've gone for the early Zealot Adept pressure. 5 Marines there ready to defend. Does not raise the depot, and that is unfortunate. That is going to get in there and kill at least 1 SCV. CLEM, what are we doing? He's moving across the map with Marine Hellion right now. He's so focused on picking up this tank and going for a push because he feels like, you know what, you're low on units. And he's actually going to get another SCV there. Beautiful play by MAXPAX, 2 SCVs. The question is, does he realize, hey, the fact that you're not defending this is a big sign of aggression. I need to get out. He's building a Prism, not an Immortal. An Immortal would be the godsend right now. There's only 2 gateways, guys. A third one is coming up, actually. Never mind. Warp gate's there. If he keeps warping in Stalkers, gets out and sees this, could be good. He sees the Marine. The Marine accidentally on the low ground. CLEM was not on the high ground. Doesn't disguise his push as well as he potentially could have there. Small detail, but small details matter. 6 Stalkers coming out front. CLEM might get shut down here. If these Stalkers can get rid of the medevac quickly, that'll be really good. But if you can't get rid of the medevac, the micro potential is kind of crazy. Prism comes out. He could do some very nice Prism pickups. But of course, now that the attacks are being spread across CLEM's army, you can see the Stalkers are starting to take damage. This position, very scary for Protoss. And now his buildings are vulnerable. If he loses this pylon, he might just be dead. He has to pull probes. If that pylon starts to go down. So far, though, here we go. The probes have to get pulled. Stalkers blink forward, and that's a huge snipe on the tank, because if he didn't snipe that, even 1 or 2 shots on those clumped probes that were pulled could have been devastating, but he ends up holding it. New pylons powering all the buildings. Equal units lost, ready to take a third base as well. If MAXPAX drops a third right now, that is a Chad maneuver. He is confident. How many Stalkers did he lose? 4 Stalkers, only 3 probes. I think that was a really fantastic hold. Clem going for a sort of crazy window of aggression. Doesn't quite find the mark. He's got a tank in the main, tank on the natural. Should be able to defend with this. I think MAXPAX would be kind of crazy to commit any further, but gets an SCV. Blinking into the main, not a good idea. I think just Prism drop the Stalkers in the back, and you've got an opening around this whole backside where you can pick units off. Sorry, guys, I didn't even notice that, because I'm blind, apparently. I think a Liberator came in, forced a bit of lost mining time, didn't kill a single probe, though. And that, of course, pushes things into the favor of MAXPAX. Yes, the worker count's even, and you might think, isn't even worker count good for Terran Pig? Yeah, normally, but remember, Clem has massively delayed his tech. And what do I mean by that? Is Raven's not out yet. His 2nd and 3rd barracks do not have tech labs. They're just still building and kind of swapping onto add-ons, which means stim, combat shields, and then swapping into a reactor and medevac production is going to hit at the 9-minute mark. 9 minutes is very late in this game. This gives MAXPAX all the time in the world to chrono out probes on this 3rd, go into whatever he's going to go to next, which I was about to say, normally it would be for him a Sentry and Immortal charge, +1 attack, and, you know, then head to Forecast Colossus. But MAXPAX changing it up and going for Storm, and I love that MAXPAX mixes this in. I think Storm is such a good style. If you don't mix it in, you become a bit too predictable. You make the Terran too comfortable. So I love the choice there as Clem goes for a 2-base all-in. That's right, 4th and 5th barracks, guys. That's going to massively delay his 3rd command center. And I mean, it's not really an all-in. You can build a 3rd on location while you're pushing, but he's going to have to do damage with this push. And I think Storm is one of the best ways to stop this, to be fair. If Clem realizes it's Storm, gets rid of the Observer especially would be the biggest thing. That Observer's in vision. He should not be letting that just chill there, but I guess he can't quite reach it from here. And again, MAXPAX a little too close, but pulls it back. Nice move for MAXPAX, really good. So you want to sneak a drop around this right side and sneak into the main base with a double drop. If you can do that as Clem, catch MAXPAX out of position, and then dive across the map at the same time, it's really hard for MAXPAX to defend the main and ambush you with Storm on the front. What MAXPAX is going to want, he wants you to move out in a big ball, big frontal push, and then he can flank you with a Prism drop Storm across the Marines and Marauders. From one side, Zealots charge from the other side. Bam, push gets shut down. Any SCV pull is effectively worthless into Storm Zealot, so that's a really nice way to do it. If Clem, however, like I said, can take advantage of the fact that, I mean, what do you have for anti-air? You got 10 Stalkers, you've got an Observer. It's not a crazy amount of vision, but that's why these Stalkers are on the edges, making sure that drop doesn't sneak across. MAXPAX aware of the threat. Does lose a Stalker already, though, on the move out. Almost gets the Raven, but not quite. 3 High Templar, all he's got, guys. But he's already used the energy recharge, which I love. I've been so critical of top Protoss players not preemptively using energy recharge. Because he used it 40 seconds ago, it's going to come off cooldown, and he'll be able to warp in another 2 Storms, which is a massive change. And this is something players should have been doing months ago. Finally, MAXPAX has caught on to that, and I'm so happy to see it. Here we go. Watch out for the Raven. Oh, big Storms. Oh, my God, Clem. Clem was distracted by the Zealot run by. He eats gigantic Storms. That's right, guys. Zealots ran in the natural. He looked at home at the worst possible moment, and MAXPAX, he's waiting for the anti-armor missile to wear off. He can flank this with Zealots. If he goes around from 2 sides, this should be so easy for him to clean up. Thinking about going forwards there to stop that bunker building, but kind of going in and out a little bit. Does bait a stim. It's like 5 Marauders, 2 Widow Mines, and a few Siege Tanks. If you can clean this up before these guys get in, it would be great. The Zealot flank's a bit slow, though. He's kind of attacking in a bit of a corner. Storm lands on 2 of the tanks. High Templar do need to protect themselves inside the Prism. Finally, the tanks go down. It was a nice tank position. They just did not have enough support for Clem, and MAXPAX mauling Clem in Game 1. Alright, guys, going Game 2. I wonder if MAXPAX is going to skip the scout here on ley lines. Clem in the bottom left going, oh! Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Gas First has returned to the repertoire of Clem recently. He's been doing a bit of Gas First. I wonder if it's with an engineering bay block. I think it is. He's sending a second SCV up. So this one goes to eBay block, and this one builds the barracks. Now, barracks is delayed about 3 seconds, maybe 2 seconds when you go Gas First. You can see he doesn't want to get spotted by the probe. It is a gate scout here for MAXPAX. So he's going to go down the bottom and then path in to get that eBay started at about, what, a minute 10, minute 15? Nexus usually goes down about a minute 25 for the Protoss, so as long as you get it down before then. Preferably you have a few seconds building it before the probe attacks you, so they can't just pull 4 probes and kill it instantly. But it's funny, I feel like players don't really pull the probes anymore because they just don't bother checking for it every game. I think the top players are saying it's not worth checking for it every game. I check for it every game. The reason I check for it is I skip the probe scout so I can afford to. But if you probe scout and you check for the eBay block, it feels pretty bad. And he already clicks to the third base expecting to get blocked. Dude, MAXPAX plays this like a Zerg playing against Protoss. He clicks his worker to the third, assuming there'll be a block. And then he just double checks as he goes past. He's like, yeah, it's a block. I figured. Like, he actually plays with this expectation. That's kind of cool, man. This expectation? Sorry, guys. I'm trying to... Someone before, they were saying it was egg sealant play by CLEM to shut down something that MAXPAX did in that last game. And I was very confused. Apparently, that means excellent in internet terms these days if you're using your text-to-speech. So now, apparently, we could just use egg sealant or any version of egg this or egg that. Okay. We'll make the commentary cringeworthy. Oh, Marine into Reaper, guys. This is what I call the sneaky Reaper. Now, this is the NA Reaper. Remember, guys, a Reaper is never late nor early. He arrives exactly when he intended to. Gandalf Reaper. I always find that I go, oh, you went Marine first. You're not going to go Reaper. And I always have all my Adepts and Stalkers running across the map to pressure. And then this random 30-second delayed Reaper, or 18-second delayed, I guess, since that's the Marine build time, jumps into my main base and kills 3 probes. And it frustrates me to no end when this happens. Because I'm like, oh, god damn it. You've purposefully done the thing late to catch me off guard. And gonna find some profit for it. He should find at least 1 probe with this one, as the Adept just moved out. Stalker's not quite here, and Stalker can't cover the high ground as well. He's gonna chrono another Stalker to try to cover the high ground, but Reaper grabs a probe. And of course, the command center on the high ground. Early Cyclone on the way for CLEM, and a second barracks. Ladies and gentlemen, is CLEM about to do my beginner to advanced easy 2-base TVP push? You know, is he going to do a variation of that with a Reaper squeezed in? It kind of looks like it, you know. If we see a third barracks, we might see... Yeah, third barracks just went down, guys. Oh, and he's hiding it in the back. Good to see Clem studying from the guides that Platinum League players get to use to get to Diamond. Definitely not a build order I stole from Chinese player Coffee. Obviously, we would have done that with a normal 1-Rax expand, not a gas first. So the great thing about the Cyclone is it shuts down your enemy scouting and map control, keeps you safe against oracles, gives you that stability, and then you've already got the tech lab on the factory, so you can start super early tank production. Now, obviously, you're very starved for gas, but with this build, because you skip the starport entirely, you don't need a third gas, right? And that's really big. Oh, did you just get another probe? 3 probes for the Reaper, dude. That's a really good start. That's so nice. That really slows MAXPAX down, man. Little bits of mining time as well. MAXPAX has got to be frustrated as he goes up to 3-gate blink, and definitely a nice start for Clem. So, like I said, no starport. He's trying to squeeze in Marines, Stim, Siege tanks, and he's not even building an add-on on the third barrack, so he's going to push when this next tank comes out. So it's going to be a 2-tank move out about 4:45, hits about 5 minutes 20, with 2 Siege tanks, a big pack of Marines, 1 or 2 Marauders, and a Cyclone. Good thing about the Cyclone is it makes it hard for the Stalkers to stutter step and shoot down your Marines as you cross the map without losing Stalkers to the Cyclone lock-on. The other thing that's really good is the fact that you just have so many units, it's crazy. Downside, you cannot afford to stim. If you stim on your side of the map, remember, no Medevacs are coming out. Every stim is only for when the Protoss fully commits to a fight. Oh, no blink yet. This is what I'm talking about with this friggin' Cyclone, man. It's so good. And he should just hold the high ground, should Clem. Clem bullying him right now. Dude, he just got another Stalker. Oh, this is a disaster for MAXPAX. Guys, MAXPAX, I thought he would have to wait for the second tank, should Clem. But MAXPAX has already been pushed back, and he hasn't had to stim at all. He's got position using... This is so smart, because he gets high ground there, then he gets sight blocker here, and this makes it so hard for MAXPAX to slow this push down. But MAXPAX does have an observer. He's got a shield battery coming up. He's only on 3 gateways. Doesn't quite get the Cyclone. MAXPAX has got to be mouthing. If he could double force field this ramp, that could be really clutch. Nice energy recharge here. Oh, he does lose a Stalker. That tank barely in range. He needs to get something to shoot that Cyclone, though. He's got to finish off that Cyclone. It's sitting there on Reddit points. He gets 1, tank does MAXPAX. He's got to pull the probes. He knows he can't chill. He cannot screw around, but Stim comes in, so he has to return the probes, wait for that Stim to maybe wear out. Observer goes down. Stalker's here. He's got himself a Zealot, but remember, it's a slow Zealot, and this is 5.5 minutes. A bunch of Marines and Marauders there, and whenever the probes pull, he's going to Stim, stutter step, and it's so hard to actually connect with this Marine Marauder. The damage output on Stim Bio this early in the game is insane. One of the Marauders goes down, the tanks go down, the bunker goes down, but there's a new tank arriving. The Marine Marauder do not have long left in this life, but it doesn't matter because they've already removed all their enemies. And much like an old man thinking about what he achieved, He may be going down saying, look, this may be my last days on this earth, but as long as I killed all the Protoss, I'll count it as a life well lived. You know, people talk about on your deathbed, what are the last things you kind of regret? People say spending too much time at work, not enough time with my family, not killing enough Protoss players. You know, those are the two things that are most commonly talked about as regrets that people have in their last minutes. And CLEM's Marine Marauder definitely will not have those regrets this time. They just did massive damage. 7 probes. MAXPAX sometimes hangs on, or somehow hangs on is what I was trying to say there. Shields coming in, though. He's got another tech lab, engineering base, still no starport. Sets up a little ambush in the map, gets another Stalker. Man, 2,000 resources, units lost advantage. MAXPAX is 35 probes. He's got no follow-up. MAXPAX had nothing in the production tab. He's just on 3 gate. Yes, his third is finished, but he knew there would be stim shields. He assumed there would be medevacs coming. There is gases being taken as well as a turret in case there was DTs, and MAXPAX has to tap out. That game started bad and just got worse. All right, guys, this series has been pretty action-packed. Going into game 3 already. MAXPAX in the top right, and he's going to be going for a gate scout. Back to basics. Back to basics for CLEM 2 with the barracks gas, and what's the bet? He goes double gas, guys. Yes, he's rallying this next one over, so... Double gas, man. You know, why do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, the chat. Why is one Rax expand normal barracks gas build just out of the meta against pro? Is it because it's just too slow and predictable? Because it's kind of funny because I thought like, hey, these double gas builds rely on surprise. Protoss in this patch can scout better than ever with like sentry opening and oracles, but I think something Clem's shown, the top pros. When I've spoken, they said Oracle's not viable. Against CLEM, it's not viable. He's too good with his Marine, Medevac, Cyclone, Viking sort of pressure, and the Oracle just can't get value because you can't consistently land stasis traps on him. Once he knows you've gone Stargate, he just will not walk into stasis traps. He'll walk in with a Marine, set off the stasis trap, but before it even freezes the Marine, he'll pick it up with the Medevac and save it. You won't even... All you do is slow down his move outs and force him to micro a little bit more, which is really tangible against most Terran players, but against a guy as fast as CLEM, as good with his micro, it doesn't do so much. So we very rarely see Oracle. We've seen Hero actually have a lot of success with proxy Oracles doing damage, but he always takes too much damage on the counterattack. And that's something where I actually still think Oracle's viable. I think you do need to try to proxy him, catch him off guard a little. But I think proxy Oracle's a very good build, and I think it's something that people are missing from their repertoire, and it's something where it's not 100% solid and reliable, which I know a lot of the European players are always looking for. They're like, I want this build to work every time. I just think when you're playing CLEM, looking for 100% success rate with an opening is maybe a little bit of a, I almost said phallic mindset. I meant like fallacious, like, you know, like it's a fallacy, like it's not possible. And then my brain abbreviated it to phallic, and I'm like, that's not what that means, Jared. Like, there's a better, that's definitely not what you're trying to say. My mind is permanently in the gutter, I guess. 2 Hellion Reaper pressure, or 2 Reaper Hellion, I should say. It's going to be a light pressure. He's going Tech Lab Reactor, Starport after Command Center on the high ground. Adept does arrive over here. That's going to take a poke as well. Depot's taking a bit of damage. Blink starts up right when that Twilight finishes. Tight build. Unfortunately, no one on station on the natural. Oh god, he snap recalls the Adept, which is actually really well done. But with only one Adept and one Stalker at 320. You know, this is actually the pressure that gets me as well. 3 Reaper, 2 Hellion I have no problem with, but it's the 2 Reaper, 1 Hellion that's just... I wasn't seeing it for a while, and it has had this exact same experience on me like a few times in the last week on ladder. And I was really surprised because I was like, oh, I thought 2 Reaper, 1 Hellion wasn't good, but like my Oracle's never out on time. I never have a third gateway unit, so if you're not like really out in position in front with both units, ready to focus down one of the units as quickly as possible, bam, 5 probes go down. Excellent start for CLEM. He's got a second barracks on the way. He's got a medevac, so he's going to have like a little medevac Marine Cyclone follow-up pressure, and he'll just go 3 racks, you know, stim shields. Probably goes Raven tank first. He's already building a tank. You kind of have to play usually a couple of tanks against MAXPAX pressure. 3 gate blink pressure, something that you cannot sniff at. It's always going to demand at least 2 siege tanks. Cyclone Marine out front. He's always looking for these pickoffs. This is what I love about CLEM is he makes it so hard for the Protoss to just establish basic map control. Like these things you take for granted, and this is always the difference when you're playing PvT. I notice such a different outcome in results based on these little details in the early game. And I always talk about build orders matter a lot in PvT, but also it's how you use those units. And like You know, I often will do what I feel like is the same build order on paper as Clem, but I end up pinned on 2 bases, unable to move out or leave, and the Protoss sees everything, and they're just shading adepts in one at a time, keeping track of what I'm doing. Clem, you can see, he just kind of pushed the Protoss vision back until Blink was done. And now MAXPAX finally gets vision, but hey, there's time for the bunkers to be up. Oh, Adept Shade's in. New tank pops out, we'll take care of that, and he sneaks this drop out. So this is a cheeky delayed drop. He's kind of showed the units at home, but he's like, you know what? I don't think this Marine Cyclone is necessary to defend. I've got a tank here, siege that nice and far back. Look how far back that tank is. That's so good, because you don't want the Stalkers to just be able to blink in, kill the tank like here, and then run away easily. You just want to make it harder to reach. This tank here also, if he blinks in, good chance at least one of the Stalkers, a few of the Stalkers are going to take some splash damage. The Observer comes forward, starts to see what's going on. Drop's trying to sneak in. Good pylon position. Remember, pylons do have more vision, which actually does make quite a difference in this matchup. But it looks like the Medevac sees the pylon. Medevac still has longer sight range. Medevac has insane sight range. Things like a friggin' Overseer. Back on the Oracle point, Oracles can be valuable later in the game. Why is it needed to be effective at the start of the game against Terran? Oh, because you spend a lot of money on it. So if you get no value out of it, they literally kill you. Or get a lot of damage with the Marine Medevac Cyclone Viking pressure. So if you only delay his push by 2 seconds and make him micro a little bit, or 5 seconds, or even 10 seconds, and the Oracle adds no value in the engagement because of his insane Medevac micro, the Viking, the Cyclone, like you basically have spent all this money on a Stargate and an Oracle, and you literally just can't defend his pressure, or like you can't secure your third. So you end up just in a compromised position because of the pressure that Clem mounts against Stargate builds. Now don't get me wrong, like I said, I still think there is room for it, but I think you've got to kind of open up with like a very fast Stargate, get like a proxy, get a little bit of damage, and there's a lot of little ways you have to shore yourself up against the counter defense potential as well. So yeah, you know, I'm kind of both saying I think there's a valid thing that can be done, but I also understand why the pro players haven't been able to find a way to make it happen yet, and what the obstacles are. StarCraft is not easy, and so much is based on execution, where if you're just good enough at being in your opponent's face or applying pressure and just doing certain things, you can make your opponent's race actually come to an incorrect conclusion where they say, well, this just doesn't work. What they don't realize is we're not good enough at making it work, and we actually really just need to spend a lot of time studying it, figuring it out. So there's kind of a mistake that sometimes gets made, even at the top level, of saying, this build doesn't work because I tried it a bunch of times and I couldn't make it work. And you're like, you're playing against your opponent's best possible strategy. He's played 1,000 times. You're not doing you're doing a strategy. You've been working on this for 5-10 games. That's not enough to really figure out the bait. Like, you need more time studying replays, testing, figuring things out, finding little edges and ways to make it work. Dude, MAXPAX. Bad recall there. Only loses 2 Stalkers. Could have been a lot worse, honestly. But I love the early Zealot drop. He runs a single Zealot in the third. I don't like that the Prism's in vision there, but it is what it is. I think he thought there was probably a push coming across the map, so he felt like, I gotta get in there, I gotta get in there now. But oh no! Dude, Clem! Dude, did Clem know that was oh my god, he had a bunch of Marines in a Cyclone. Dude, this is a disaster. MAXPAX is trying to build a 4th base going Colossus. He had a great setup this game. But after you lose all those units, I mean, 3-1 in the units lost tab, Clem is like, ooh, time to go kill you. 3 tanks on siege. He's got a Raven ready to anti-armor missile. He's got his just massive Marine Marauder, 7 Marauders, 23 Marines. What do we got to defend? 2 Sentries, 1 Immortal, 8 Stalkers, 11 Zealots. Stalkers come forward. If they get the Raven, it would be nice. They're not going to be able to. Clem's micro a bit too crisp. More Zealots coming in. The first Colossus is about to pop, but it does not have the extended thermal lance. 4th base getting cancelled is the correct call. Stalker goes down. Zealots getting taken out. Great force field. Single Medevac saves the units, though. Auto turrets do get forced out, but MAXPAX expends almost his entire army for this. Still way behind in the units lost tab. That Raven somehow still alive. Clem marching forward, sieging his tanks methodically, his Widow Mines as well. And this is just nasty for MAXPAX to deal with. The Marines do get gunned down by the Colossus, but if you can get rid of the Zealots, the tanks should be focus firing the Colossus. A bit slow on the focus fire. Uncharacteristic for Clem to not focus the Colossus there, but he does take out the Immortal, which is potentially the more important unit. One could argue the Immortal's the guy that's going to get rid of the siege tank, so actually getting rid of that might be higher value, even though normally the Colossus is the guy you want to get rid of. Now notice Clem wants to pull his Marines behind his Marauders if possible. Instead he's just going to do some generic stutter step for now. The Zealots trying to get on top. The Colossus and the Stalker, you can see, struggling to kill the siege tank. Zealots, Stalkers, Colossus trying to pull back. MAXPAX hanging on like a champ. His 4th base starts on the right side in the midst of this. He realizes, look, this game's going to go longer. I need to do that. Observer goes down at home there. That Observer placement was brilliant. The fact that the Raven was sent home, Clem reorganizing his army in the midst of attacking, That's what makes him so great. And I love the choice to pull back right now because his medevacs are out of healing juice. He's only got 2 Vikings against now 2 Colossus with, we can see the extended thermal lance is about to finish. And he's going to split. These guys are just going to try to maintain position while these guys attack the south side. He finds a few zealots, so kind of preemptively shuts down the counterattack of the Protoss. 2 Dark Templar coming in. 5 Stalkers. Are we able to get a Viking? Yep. Good blink micro from MAXPAX, but he's down 30 army supply. Struggling to defend the north, which means the south is a foregone conclusion. Far too much Protoss on the dance floor. Auto turret goes down, Stim comes in, 4th base gets cancelled. MAXPAX trying to chase the north, which is absolutely the right call. You'd think you'd just stim and run away, but of course Clem turns and fights as well, because he knows MAXPAX wants to turn around, and he's trying to bait MAXPAX back in this direction, so this army can do even more damage. Beautiful play by Clem. Takes out a gateway, and he just backs away. Why? Because once again, guys, he needs time to heal. Why would he overstim it? This is where most Terrans just take bad fights. We get excited. I gotta kill him, I gotta kill him. He's building splash damage laser units. I gotta kill him. You know, we panic, we engage, but Clem is really paying attention to his medevacs, his healing, his bio, and he's realizing I've already got a huge economic advantage. Add the upgrades, make sure my depots are building my command centers, go up to 8 barracks, you know, Ghost Academy, add Ghost, get the ship weapons potentially in the future. Just adding all these pieces, you know, he's taking a moment in between gaining aggressive advantages to fix his macro. And this is where the skill that you never stop getting better at in StarCraft, you've always got room for improvement. It's do damage, take a good fight, and then take a breath and do some macro. And then do some more micro and map control and that stuff, and then take a breath and do some macro. Getting that rhythm down, choosing when to fight, when to macro, it's very hard to do. And don't get me wrong, there's an advantage from being just crazy aggressive and just YOLOing sometimes, right? Well, Clem's kind of known for being overly aggressive and just trying to finish the game in the old days. But he's added a real amount of patience to his play and really just a bit more of a measured adjustment to whatever situation he's in. 4th base gets cancelled again. MAXPAX right now is holding on. And I think in the age of the Golden Disruptor, you guys remember they used to always be like, well, if I land a big disruptor shot, we don't even ask that question anymore, because you know, even if Clem takes like a bit of a mistake against the disruptor, which he doesn't, the zealots actually die to the disruptor shot, there's no way he's going to let you hit like 20, 30 Marines and Marauders, not to mention those Marauders ain't even going to get one shot. MAXPAX gets pushed out of that game. A terrible start with the Stalkers missing the recall and then the Prism flying into the Marines and the Cyclones in the main base. Clem wins 2-1 and goes to the grand finals. All right, guys. Going into the next best of 3, because guess what? Clem in the top right, MAXPAX in the bottom left for Psystorm took down Mana. The lower bracket was only a best of 1. He beat Mana in a single map, and he finds himself immediately rematching with Clem. And Clem's like, oh, really? You get another shot already? But remember, Clem wins this best of 3. He wins the whole tournament. If MAXPAX wins, he gets to play another best of 3. So he has to beat, because he lost the last one, he has to beat Clem 2 best of 3s in a row, which I think is fair. I think it's kind of a funny format, right? Because this is almost like potentially this could become like a best of 9, which is weird. But yeah, where it's kind of, it could be getting to that point. Or I mean, actually almost like a best of 11, right? If you got to get 6 wins to win 3 best of 3s. Or I guess it's no, because one can win the other. Yeah, it's like a best of 9. It's a lot like a best of 7 or a best of 9, essentially, is what it kind of boils down to. Anyways, double gas opening for Clem. Gate scout for MAXPAX. MAXPAX, question, guys, why does MAXPAX gate scout? This is a question I have for all of you. And the reason I ask this is I don't think his build changes. And am I being stupid? And if you're ever a high-level player, please backseat, please tell me. Or if you just have observed something, you don't have to be a high-level player. But I think high-level players sometimes feel like it might be condescending if they explain something to a commentator. And I'm always like, guys, if I say something wrong or miss something, please tell me. I know that even when I am super in tune with build orders and I know a lot of what's going on, like you guys know there's times where I've studied Cyril's Zerg vs. Terran last year when I was really excited by the 1515. I would say I was probably the biggest expert on his build orders outside of him. I don't think anyone else had as much knowledge of his build orders for quite a long time as I did. Even then, I know I'm missing so many details in those games. So, and this goes for the comment section as well. If you're watching on YouTube, you could be a player who's never, ever played the game or very rarely played it, or you're in Silver League, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. You can always comment and give feedback and stuff. Just try to use timestamps wherever possible, because I upload a prodigious amount of content on this channel. This will be up on the Pigstarcraft channel if you're watching live on Twitch, of course. Follow me over there. And yeah, it's very hard to keep track of everything. So just try to put those reminders in like every second or third cast, because otherwise I get inundated with comments of being like, can't believe you said that thing about the Cyclone. You're so wrong because of this. And I'm like, I don't even know what I said about the Cyclone. This is a 2-hour cast, man. Like, come on. Give me a timestamp. Because then I'm, the worst part is I'm wondering and I'm thinking, I'm trying so hard to remember what I said about the Cyclone in the cast. And I just can't remember, man. But anyways, let's talk about it, guys. If you are watching on YouTube, by the way, and you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, Twitch is owned by Amazon. So you guys can give me free money if you want. Go over to my Twitch, x5_pig, twitch.tv, x5_pig, and you can subscribe for free with Amazon Prime. I have to manually do it each month, but it gives me actual money. And it costs you nothing if you're already paying for Amazon Prime. Adept does go down. Great Reaper Hellion defense. We're going to continue forwards. Okay, I was going to say, that's a bit crazy, but he's hoping to just get a few hits off and shade backwards, use the grass to get an extra hit or two. Gateway's up, second gateway blink. Yeah, I don't know if the build has changed from his probe scout. I mean, he knows what's going on, that it was a double gas build because he saw, you know, the 2 depots and stuff like that with the probe early. I feel like, do you guys think MAXPAX is just probe scouting specifically to block a potential proxy marauder? He's going to wall off with a pylon, right? Yeah, he's got to wall off with a pylon. Stalker's trapped outside. This is really bad for MAXPAX because now he loses a Stalker. And honestly, this is already great for CLEM. Like, you've killed an Adept and a Stalker. He literally needs... He's going to lose his Robo. Oh my god, he has to go out to fight the Adept so close to die. He doesn't even heal it. The Adept's going to die, man. He's going to lose his Robo. He is not willing to lose his Robo, which is why he throws the Adept away and has to cancel the Robo. Oh, this is what I would refer to as a disaster, guys. CLEM right now is winning the game with 3 Reapers and 2 Hellions. I didn't realize we were watching U-Thermal doing a planetary rush and then winning with the first really tight 3 Reaper, 2 Hellion push. Oh, MAXPAX sending that first Adept out, just getting it punished, and then the flow-on effect here has been absolutely disastrous. Single Widow Mine drop coming in behind it. Banshee, tank, Marines. Dude, CLEM is all over this game. What a disastrous... We're really seeing what I would call a brutally savage series, right? The first 2-1 for CLEM was amazing. We're now in our second best of 3. He only gets 1 probe there, but like, how do you recover from this? I mean, I would say that the fact that CLEM's building a Banshee and is a bit supply blocked for a moment, like, these are good things. I also wonder, guys, why is CLEM building a second tank and a second bunker? Is he's actually very afraid of the 3-gate blink pressure. He's like being super respectful. Now we know there's 4 Stalkers, a Sentry, and he can't even afford a War Prism. MAXPAX is just like, I can't even blink in your base. But CLEM's treating it with like the utmost respect. And I guess this is the power of so often doing really good 4-gate blinks that he's almost traumatized CLEM into being a little overly safe. Like, if CLEM could have played safe here. Now, obviously, he's going to get the extra tank, put that up here in the main, and then he should be lifting the factory, putting the barracks down. Stalkers blink in, get themselves an SCV. Maybe pick off a depot as well, which is good. Any value is good value here. Didn't have a prism, so we had to use the hallucination to spot the high ground. And CLEM can get into stim and shields and all that stuff. He should be able to go very well. Nice recall, making sure he doesn't get trapped by any tank sieging further up. Third Nexus getting chronoed. And we've got 3 gateways, 3 probes coming in. All right, Forge goes down behind the natural. It's a pretty early Forge. But I guess he's already got the sentry out. Charge should start momentarily. 2 more gateways, bring it up. So 6-gate charge. Okay. On 3 gas. So I expect the Robo Bay plus 4th gas, probably about, I would guess 640. Usually doesn't rush to it, tries to keep up his probe production, zealot production, that sort of stuff. CLEM's going to sneak a drop out the left side. He's already got the Banshee down the bottom, which the Observer does see. Battery building in the main to make sure that can't do damage on its own. Oh, Raven catches the Observer, and MAXPAX. Oh, it's a bait! Dude, that's huge value. Guys, after all this damage in the early game, he gets a Raven there. That's a lot of value. Like, I feel like MAXPAX might actually be able to stabilize after what I felt like was a disastrous early game, but I guess losing the Robo, it's not probes, right? He only lost 5 probes this game, which, I mean, it's not good, but it's not as bad as, you know, I guess losing the Robo, cancel, that sort of stuff, the Adept and the Stalker is not as bad, in the long run at least. Banshee comes in, gets 2 workers, not bad. CLEM comes in with the Marine drop on the left side, doesn't have stim yet. Dude, this is kind of crazy that he's pressuring right now, but I think he just realizes MAXPAX doesn't have that many units. Gonna delay this, and I think he's gonna leave the Marines behind. I think he's realized, wait a second, you're just rallying back in? Kills 3 probes. Does he get out? Oh, he saves like 5 Marines as well? No way. I would hunt this. I would send 3 Stalkers to here right now And yeah, MAXPAX. I mean, at this point, you have to start hunting. You can't just be like letting things get home. And look at this, MAXPAX. Where's he going to? He's got to go to that. That's the point, right on this right side there. He's going to put one Stalker there. Clem just having a bit of a shower here, guys. I still feel this thing should do damage with just how violent it looks, but it is what it is. 7 Zealots coming in, Immortal as well. 59 probes against 58 SCVs. Clem, he's got the numbers, he's got the advantage, and he's got a big pack of Stim Shield Marines in the main base, dude. Do not fly that Prism in, MAXPAX. You can't afford that 2 times in this series. Stalkers hanging out at the front side. He's going to have to choose which angle. He goes left side with the Stalkers. Few Zealots up north. Tank is kind of far back, so he could pick off a Marine or Marauder and run away. Oh, he's clicking the Prism in. He's clicking it on the 3rd mineral line, though. Stalker's getting stimmed on so many going down. It's like 3 Stalkers go down. He tries to Zealot bomb the mineral line. And the Prism is going to get out of there. 2 Zealots, 3 Zealots for a tank and a bit of mining time. Not a great trade for MAXPAX, but, you know, it's not crazy. Getting rid of the tanks does really help you in the future as well. As that's the only real long-range anchor sort of unit that he's got available. MAXPAX down 30 supply, tries to build a battery. Stalkers will take out the Banshee down there. Observer getting some great vision out front. The Raven going down is actually huge. Prism just flies into the Widow Mine. Oh, no. Dude, this is just so bad for MAXPAX. It's amazing that Clem's giving him as much room as he is. I feel like Clem's been playing a lot against Hero lately. And he's kind of more and more been adopting this. I'll just chill to late game and beat you there. And I know MAXPAX has definitely had some thoughts about mid-game attacking, trading with the Terran can be really good, but there's like, I think he feels there's a fall-off point in the late game where the Terran army is just a bit too good and it's so hard to find good fights against Clem. It's very rare you'll see MAXPAX go for second Robo early, go for Storm early. He never bypasses the mid-game, right? So MAXPAX has a very set way of playing, which is heavy Stalker Zealot production all game long. Try to get the second Forge, eventually add the second Robo, but basically keep fighting, make him overstim, try to pick off the Vikings, try to micro the Colossus. It's a style that's predicated on you being one of the best, if not the best micro player in the world. MAXPAX does not have his Observer scanned, which he's got to be happy about. Clem making sure he's not an Observer back here watching everything. MAXPAX coming forward with the Stalkers, gets himself a medevac, doesn't lose any Stalkers, forces a Stim as well. Sort of stuff's always good value. I would turn for the Marauder kill if I was MAXPAX here. Let's see if he goes for it. Does lose a Stalker, gets himself one more Marine for it. Good chase for Clem. Double drop in the north, ready to snipe the 5th base. Dark Shrine comes in, 2 more gateways as well. Second Forge needs to get upgrading that armor. The armor upgrades are always so late in this series. This is always one of the things where the Zealots just disappear to the bio. Remember, Zealots have 100 hit points, 50 shields only. Those armor upgrades, so important. Also EMP, of course, not able to remove those. Command Center goes north. Bio still hanging out. Observer's shuffled forward. He realizes it's there and scans. Clem, he's almost maxed. I feel like he should already be pushing. I think he's got to go. He's got to go soon. Zealots charge in. MAXPAX a bit slow to turn around. Concussive Shells, damn good ability, mate. Shuts down those Zealots. About 5 Zealots go down. Widow Mine's over there. Good spready on the units to mitigate some of the Widow Mine damage, and the Stalkers will take out those Widow Mines before he pulls back. Good move by MAXPAX. More Zealots getting ready to run in that left side. Dark Shrine is available. Still only 1 Robo, and that's crazy to me, guys. Finally, the second Robo goes down. The opposite of how I play PvT at my level, where it's all about splash damage. MAXPAX is all about a bit of splash with a lot of mobile Zealot Stalker, and the way he baits these stims, moves in, moves out, shaves off units. He's trying to bait the Vikings forward so the Stalkers can shoot them. He wants the Zealots to kind of buffer for his army, but when the army's stimmed and microing well, the Zealots want to pull back. He kind of just... The Zealots are expendable each time, but he wants to get Colossus shots on the Marines. He wants to get Stalkers focusing Vikings. And if at a certain point you get rid of all those Vikings, the Colossus become king. Stalker's picking off another Marine, almost getting a second one, but not quite. Extra command center is building. Clem adding gases on his 4th. He's got ship weapons and 2-2 almost there. Zealot Stalker Sentry pushing in like crazy. Force fields are available. But look at those Vikings getting good volleys. Zealots on the left try to run in. So many units going down here for MAXPAX. He's behind 2k and the resources lost. Disruptor waiting out to the left side. I like the way he doesn't commit to these fights. He kind of skirmishes. He is going to max out now as MAXPAX. His +1 arm is almost there, but 2-2 is about to kick in for the Terran. So it's even upgrades. Swings in Protoss favor, and then 10 seconds later goes back to Terran favor. Colossus, Zealot, Stalker, Sentry hanging outside the base. 6th base is building right now for MAXPAX, and he's keeping Clem pinned. Clem does not go for a quick second starport. He does not go lib range, fusion core, or anything like that. The Zealot Stalker Colossus goes forward. The Stalkers, oh, Disruptor shot lands pretty nicely, but not able to get many shots on the Vikings, and does look like one of those Colossus is going to probably be going down. Maybe two. The Vikings with the chase. Oh, God. The Stalkers try to get in there and take out some Vikings, but two Colossus go down for only one Viking. This is a disaster for a MAXPAX who remaxes on pure Gateway. No supply left for Disruptor production, guys. He's got only 4 Disruptors. One of them is there because I guess he forgot about that one. Does bring it to the front now, which is nice. Using F2 probably to find that unit. 2 more command centers building, Clem. This is looking like everything's in your favor. You just need to make sure you are not making any huge mistakes in the next few minutes. Colossus goes up the cliff. Clem pulling to that side. Zealots, mass Zealot counter on the left. You can engage into a planetary. You can use hold position and shift clicks to target the SCVs. Planetary on its own does not have great DPS. It's more of a tanking structure than everything. Vikings are going to land back there. There's still one Colossus. That's interesting. Clem's treating it like he's already killed all the Colossus, which he has not. EMP's coming down. I guess he's just not respecting the single. Marauder Ghost getting hit here by the Disruptors. Good Disruptor choke point micro by MAXPAX. And Clem, I think, wise to pull back as the Zealots sandwich him from behind. He has to stim a second time. Is this a good angle for MAXPAX? It looks like it. Disruptor shots a few of his own Zealots. The Colossus goes down. The Vikings getting chased. Looks like, I think a Prism just flew into the main and got killed as well, guys. I think there was a missile turret there. I saw something blue on the minimap going here. Looks like there's a Marine and a turret. Turret does have 1 kill. More Disruptor shots coming forward. Not quite able to clip anything. Planetary in the middle. Holds firm. Units lost tab. Still close to 2,000, which means over the last few minutes, MAXPAX has been trading evenly with Clem. Had a lot of people get confused when I make this comment. Just to clarify, guys, he was 2,000 resources behind for the last 5 minutes in this game. So the gap hasn't widened. So yes, he's still behind in overall units lost, but in the fights in the last few minutes of this game, he has traded evenly. Now, if he can obviously close that gap, that means he's trading better than Clem. If that ever goes to even, it means that in the last few minutes, he's trading better. And that's really important because everything's about the here and now, right? A fight 10, 15 minutes ago doesn't really matter in a StarCraft game. It's what's happening now. And if you can trade better with a mostly Zealot Stalker army against Bio Ghost, I mean, that's crazy because Clem's army is meant to be better than yours in terms of the raw basic units. But a few Disruptors, a few spells, a few Colossus seem to be making the difference. Disruptor shot goes out. Oh, double Ghost Snipe. That's beautiful. Oh, Clem's getting overeager here. Clem takes another big shot. Dude, Clem's just got to split his army. Clem right now is microing like a mad dog. The heavy Zealot count is scaring him to stay in a ball. That makes it way harder to dodge the Disruptor shots, and he was clumped by his own command center. He's got to lift that command center. That command center is ruining him. He has to lift that command center, but Clem in panic right now over on that right side, trying to dodge the balls, but another one throws out, and another one throws out, and they keep cooling off just in time. More Zealots in the south as well. More Disruptor shots do go out. Gets a big shot on the Ghost Marauder. Dude, MAXPAX managing this really well, and Clem looking oddly human in this situation where I guess not enough libs. And actually getting out micro, normally we expect him to be able to overwhelm Zealot Stalker Disruptor style, but basically the way MAXPAX is playing this is have a heavy Zealot army be willing to just YOLO into him, so he can't run forward and focus your Disruptors, and that allows you to throw your Disruptors a bit more carefully because you're willing to throw Zealots into the meat grinder. You've got 14 gate, 3-2 Zealots going. Yes, there's 3-3 for the Terran, but he takes another giant ball. Big Bio Lib army trying to come down that right side. Command centers are burning down right now. Disruptors continue to throw balls into the choke points. He's trying to save those units with the medevacs. Libs coming in as well. Clem trying to get down from the main base. He has to defend this situation. He's got a planetary on the left side as well, doing some good damage. Double Disruptor lands on a few Marines and Marauders. Another Disruptor getting shot down. The Stalker's getting gunned down. MAXPAX has to pull out. He cannot keep fighting here, I don't think. Not with the Libs sieged up. The Zealots come in for the flank. The Stalker's trying to fight. Oh gosh, it's so close. But it does look like MAXPAX overcommits there, trying to kill Clem. And that's a disaster because he did not look at his macro for a long time. Uncharacteristic here. But look at this, guys. He's only now transferring to that 6th base. I mean, to be fair, it's only a few probes. Oh, no. He just transferred out of his main as well because his main's fully mined. 3 more probes idling there. MAXPAX needs to recover. He's got to run away and get out of here. He needs to buy time to recover. That Prism does not have War Prism speed. You have to be careful here. But great micro to scare Clem back. Now, Clem, 61 workers still. He lost only, I think, 1 orbital. He's still got 5 orbitals. Yeah, he lost 1. Doesn't have a 6th base established yet, though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think he'll probably take this one. Remember, these are single gas geysers. And only 6 minerals. Not as many resources on those bases as the other ones. Still no Caduceus. Still no lib range. Very classic Clem. Clem loves to just play mass Bio Ghost every game. He's always one of the slowest players to go to Lib range because he has faith in his Bio Ghost control, but we can see him getting hit by Disruptors more often than normal today. It's costing him. Double Lib comes in, but it wasn't paired up with too much else. It allows his army to move forward, but even a third Lib over there. The thing is, what's he really getting out of this, guys? Oh, Libs are going to come there as well. Can definitely deny this mineral line. Run, MaxPax, get out of there. What are we doing, MaxPax? Okay, a little slow on the reaction there. It does lose 4 probes and a few stalkers. MaxPax builds 11 Dark Templar guys in the north. He's going to fight here at the same time. Disruptor shot takes out a Ghost. The Colossus falling back. There's only a few Vikings. If those Stalkers can shoot them down, I think this is a good position to fight in. 11 DTs. There's a Widow Mine. Remember, Widow Mines are the hard counter to Dark Templar if there's detection. They've only got 120 total life. That thing does massive splash damage. 40 splash damage plus damage to shields. The Dark Templar getting hammered, but they are hammering the Planetary at the same time. Army pulls back. Planetary falls. Down here in the bottom, the Colossus Stalker Zealot trying to pull back right now. Viking Marine Marauder Ghost going after it. And that's gonna be it. Dark Templar going after the orbital. We've got Libs Bio going over there as well. Trying to come forward right now. Colossus Stalker Zealot from the right. Zealots from the left. Big Disruptor shot goes through the middle. The Stalkers and the Colossus hanging on out. And that is going to be an amazing position for Clem with his army. But his economy, he loses his third. If he loses this Planetary, he's dead economically. Army-wise, 3 Colossus, 12 Stalkers, 1 Disruptor. Oh, man. It's one of these situations, though, where Clem's too damaged. He's out of medevac energy, guys. He has 7 medevacs. They're out of juice. Dark Templar, blink away and recall. Beautiful recall, preserving 8 of the Dark Templar. And he's going to warp in Massa, that Stalker, to complement the main army. These 3 Colossus, the main army, just going to keep trying to force stims out of Clem, and that is potentially a win condition in of itself. Marauders and Marines all damaged. Not enough healing to go around, but those 9 Vikings counter the Colossus, which tells us one thing, and that is Clem's army is better right now. Prism goes to the north. Third Prism that could be going down in this game, and it will. It's going to fly straight into the turret and go down. That's unfortunate. Survives for now, but is this really worth? Oh, he's going to go for it. Warps in some Zealots in the main base, going to cause some chaos. It's going to make it hard for Clem to micro. Having to split your army as an attack hits you on the front is always rough. Stalkers need to blink back. They do. Disruptor throws a shot to stop Clem chasing Zealots, and even a single DT in the main. 2 Vikings did go to clean up the Prism. DT's running in the natural. They're going to find massive value. Not only the barracks and the Marines popping out of it, but also these SCVs and command center having to run away and lift up. Colossus getting some big shots, but they do go down. Disruptor on the front line. Disruptor on the front lines. Disruptor fires. Clem runs away. I really thought Clem was just going to click on that Disruptor, but he actually takes a hit, and now he's overstimmed. Bio getting split by the force fields. The Vikings do take care of the Colossus. It's just Zealot Stalker against Marauder Ghost. But there's batteries, there's cannons, and the Bio's damage. The medevac's low on juice. Liberators and Orbital in the top protecting that base. 2 bases mining right now for Clem. He's going to try and defend over here. He's still got 5 Orbitals, which is massive, but a few of them are lifted. One of them being blocked by a Dark Templar. These DTs causing problems. MaxPax has a 7th base down south. If that base gets hit, it could be a really big turn in favor of Clem in this match, but Clem just doesn't know about it. He's so busy on the defense. You know, if you could just touch this base with even a single unit, confirm what's happening. Maybe, just maybe, but the DTs, they ran away. They're going back in. MaxPax, the best at the in and out with the Dark Templar. Blinking away with his Stalkers on the front. Clem losing his rally point. Lots of Marine Marauder goes down. He scans in panic. Doesn't even have the units to deal with it. Clem, an uncharacteristic mistake there, and the DTs blink across the wall. They're on top of the production. That is massive. Another scan does come down. The DTs will try to run away. Only 1 Marauder there able to slow them. So many scans being used up right now. Another scan goes down. Yes, the DTs fall, but at what cost? Bio finds the double expansion down the bottom. MaxPax answers by sniping the middle Planetary. 1 base left mining for Clem. MaxPax loses 2 of his most important bases, which is huge. There's still a Dark Templar hiding in the back. Stalkers will take care of the orbital next to the Planetary as well. If they just decide to click on these orbitals, the economy is exposed. Orbitals everywhere in the open. Zealots finding the SCVs. Oh, that Lib does go down. A bunch of the SCVs escaped because he wasn't on a move, actually. Robos, 2nd and 3rd Robo, are exposed out front. MaxPax right now killing the heart of the Terran economy, but he's losing his own as well. It's turning into a base trade, and Terran's up 20 army supply. I always feel like Protoss is usually a bit better at branching around and denying bases mobility-wise. So if you both lose all your mining bases, it tends to favor Terran. But guess what? Still 1 full mining base for Protoss up north. That gives him an advantage in this scenario. He also ran some probes to the bottom right where he's taking a Nexus. The Bio cleaning up the rest here. The army coming back. Nexus down there. 18 workers for Terran, 47 for Protoss. Pylons being rebuilt. Stalker's going to keep trying to bait stims. Remember, Clem's medevac's low on juice as they have been for so long. Disruptors come out and land some big juicies. Oh, damn. Lots of Marine Marauder Viking going down there. That does hurt. That absolutely does hurt. Dark Templar landing some hits here. Dude, he has to use an EMP to clear that out. He's down to just 3 orbitals. Clem, he has a big scary army, but it's so hard to pin MAXPAX down and force the fight that you need to take in this game. Clem does not know about this base. They can have expansions right next to each other. MAXPAX hiding his probes down there. He's got the middle base up, mining with 8 probes. That one with 10 on minerals. Might be worth recalling some probes over there, as his recall is available. He just did energy recharge on his sentry. Single Dark Templar continuing to trickle out on this map, causing problems. Zealots denying map control in the north. Dark Templar working as sort of an aggressive observer right now, poking in, seeing the army coming. Surprise disruptor, but Clem, his eyeballs are there, but no, they're not. Does take a hit there. Only a single Marauder gets hit, though. Quick pick up on the other ones. Disruptors falling back, bottom right side. Orbital with landed Viking lib support. That is hilarious. Building a turret because he knows Dark Templar will be an issue. Speaking of Dark Templar being an issue, that one finds the natural. This is a crazy 23-minute game. Remember, this one started with MAXPAX canceling his Robo, losing an Adeptus Stalker, a Pylon, and 5 probes in the early game. It was a bad start for him, but he has pulled this one back in a big way. He has shown why MAXPAX is considered the best PvT player in the world. Dark Templar runs in, the Viking lib make quick work of it. It's got to be worth repairing these units at this point, but of course, Clem, frantic in his mind space, his headspace right now, has got to be feeling panicked and freaked out. He has to deny these bases. He doesn't know about the bottom right base. He's going to get this Nexus. He stims only some of his bio. Notice how just a bit of the bio at the front to do more damage, because he realizes medevac energy healing and those hit points is a resource that's limited. Tries to EMP, gets a few hits on the Zealots, but the Disruptors are keeping him back. He's trying to bait the units away from the Disruptors. He floats a command center down, he finds this base, and he's going to realize, oh god, I think he would want to split some bio off in that direction. Yeah, he's going to split some Marauders off down there, no doubt. Yeah. These guys will go south, maybe? Maybe not. Dark Templar warps in there from behind. EMP is still focusing on the main army fight. That one Colossus adding some good damage. The Disruptor's going forward. Oh, the Disruptor's in front. The Disruptor's in front. He gets 2 of them. 2 Disruptors go down. Beautiful play there by Clem. That's the micro we've been missing in this match. Vikings have lifted off. There's 2 Colossus here, though, and the Vikings are damaged. Remember, they never got repaired. There is Dark Templar on top. He scans, takes it down. This base has to be defended, but MAXPAX, I think, wisely has recalled his probes, and he's going to give it up. Those probes up there. Nexus goes down in the bottom right. So the question is, where do we go now? MAXPAX says, top left, baby. Going to take that Nexus there. This Nexus here. Stalker's on the front, still trying to blink away. He's going to lose a bunch here. Disruptors are going to have to cover him. Almost gets a Marauder or 2, but loses a few Stalkers. Another Disruptor goes out. Those Disruptors just force Terran to run around. Big Zealot counterattack. Oh, he's not got a wall off. Clem already pre-stimming his Marines, bringing his army back, realizing, gosh, man, not having a wall off is dangerous against that sort of move. 3-3 for Protoss, 3-3 for Terran, not to mention +2 ship weapons. MAXPAX still down 10 army supply. But the income, at this moment, is actually Terran favored due to those mules. Only 17 workers. The problem Terran has is, of course, a lack of gas. He's building only Marines right now, and 3 Colossus are out. You've only got 6 Vikings that are wounded, and those Colossus, more than a match for 6 wounded Vikings. If the Stalkers can get 1 or 2 pickoffs, loses a Stalker there, doesn't quite get the Ghost. Dark Templar continuing to trickle in. MAXPAX pressure so steady. Still only a Liberator defending the bottom right, so sneaking some Zealots around to the bottom right would be a big move. MAXPAX too focused on hitting the production line, and well, Clem even micros individual Marines there. He scans over there, but look at that, not enough Marines to take advantage of it. Finally gets rid of it, but he's so low on scans. He's got no scans right now. Ooh, all right, Disruptor shots going out there, landing on a few Marauders. Another one lands big on the Marines, Clem. He's trying to chase through a choke point. He's got to be wary. There's still another Disruptor loaded and ready to go. The Colossus is going to do big damage as well here. He clumps and chases into MAXPAX. MAXPAX getting some excellent Colossus shots, but the Marauders run forward. There's still a Disruptor shot in there, isn't there? The Disruptor was loaded the entire time. He never fired it. Gets focused down. Zealot flank comes in from behind, though, with 3 Colossus still standing strong. That is an amazing engagement for MAXPAX. As we pointed out earlier, without enough Vikings to get rid of those Colossus, and especially if you run forward to force and engage in a clump like that, it can be devastating. A couple of medevacs get caught going north. These ones barely escape to unload, but great catch there for MAXPAX nonetheless. He gets himself a medevac, almost gets a second. Clem's going to drop the main in desperation. And Clem losing patience and realizing the longer this goes, the better economy Protoss is going to have with things like warp-ins and recalls. Protoss just has that little bit of extra mobility. Stalkers are going to run south to try and intercept. There's a full medevac right there. Ooh, Disruptor comes out, forces him back. Another Disruptor shot could go out. Great play here by MAXPAX to keep Clem off of his back. With the Colossus joining in, the units need to run, but look at that, it's worked! He outpositions him. No pylon, no recall available, And that corner base gets hit by the Marines. MAXPAX says, screw that. I'm going to chase your army down. I will make you pay for that move. Clem needs to get out of here. He's trying to do a fighting retreat, trying to drop EMPs. He doesn't have enough units here. His bio is getting overrun. It's overstimmed. The Stalkers are chasing it down. Orbital lands in front of him as if it's going to buy any time. That command center essentially being that ant who tries to plug the hole with its head. The doorman ant, the bouncer ant. Doesn't get much done against a big army of Protoss, though. Balls landing on those. There's only a single lib there. He can A-move this. Don't need to respect that single lib. Oh! Red hit point Colossus over here with a few Zealots and DTs. Oh my gosh. Kills so many Marines. Finally goes down to Clem stutter stepping forward, but at the same time, the Stalkers blink forward. The Medevacs do not get out of there, trying to evacuate. And Clem's out of income. He's just got this little army here. He's going to find the last Protoss base with the last 8 probes on it. There's not enough money to rebuild probes or Nexi right now. He loses every probe, which means... No way! Clem just forced to draw. Clem just forced to draw. There are no probes on this. Oh, no, he has enough money to rebuild. He can rebuild probes. He can rebuild probes. There's still 2 Nexi. If he gets rid of the Nexus, if he gets rid of both Nexus, it's a draw. If it gets rid of both Nexus, he can float his buildings and it's a draw. He needs to get rid of both Nexus, though. No, don't get distracted by the army. Clem, this is your only condition. Your army is so much weaker, but he doesn't get the Nexus. If MAXPAX keeps the Nexus alive, he can rebuild probes and long-distance mine. But if he can't keep the Nexus alive, then he will be dead. Clem knows that. He's only got 1 medevac, and Clem not able to get the draw condition there, and he'll have to tap out now. Oh, he's going to catch a few Stalkers, yeah. So because there's no gas to make a Stargate unit or a Stargate on the map, guys, if you can't make a flying unit, you can float buildings to the corner like Clem has, and if they can't rebuild probes and slowly long-distance mine, which you can see MAXPAX is now doing, then he basically will be forced to draw, and you guys will regame. The fact that MAXPAX had such a bad start has turned this to a win. And then Clem was looking dead for a little while, but almost turned it to a draw. What a fantastic match. Do you have a probe alive, right? MAXPAX says yes. Clem says, all right, GG. Both players trusting each other there. And we get a nice GG. Well played, dude. MAXPAX wins a 28-minute barn burner of a comeback. All right, guys. MAXPAX winning the first map here. But he's got Clem now on Whispers of Gold, a map which I very much struggle. Because right when you think you're getting established on this map, I always feel like that Terran drop zooms in from up here into that main base and finds it wide open more often than not. Because you've got a short rush distance across the map, so it's hard to defend the front areas and also keep that main closed off from drops. I do expect a standard sort of Twilight Council opening. He's going to wall off over here to close off this entrance, which makes a lot of sense. It's the probe micro. Yes, yeah. The probe micro here. Oh, right, where someone was harassing me. Nice. I thought you were talking about MAXPAX probe micro for a second. So yeah, you will see MAXPAX occasionally does a little bit of probe micro here, but not too much. There we go. You can see he's queued up a few of them to speed mine with some shifty clickies. Yep, nicely done, nicely done. Just working on these patches that are a little bit less efficient, a bit further away. Good micro. Oh, he's putting a lot of APM into this, actually. Clem not bothering by the looks of the APM tab. Probe comes in, SCV deals with it. As long as you don't get your barracks delayed, you're fine. Rotate the weak SCV back usually. Use this one to try and expand. This is going to be a more standard barracks gas build for Clem. Cool. I was saying earlier, I mean, why is this build so dead? Like, we never see it, or so rarely do we see it. But I guess he still mixes it in once in a while. It is a Marine first, so I think we're going to see Marine into Factory, right? Oh no, he goes Reactor straight away again. Okay, he's been doing a lot of the Reactor, Marine Reactor. I loved this build for a while, and I stopped doing it because I found, especially on these maps with the natural, it's a bit, you can't really rely on the 3 Marines to defend. So you kind of need to go for a bunker. And to me, going for the early reactor and going for the bunker just feels like it's so mineral expensive. So I like this build on a map where I've got like Ultra Love, where I've got a natural ramp I can defend. But on this map, it just feels a bit harder. Factory does go down. Notice the placement. He's already preparing Factory, Starport, and another barracks for that wall off here. So Stalkers can't get into the main. And we've got the first Adept coming out. Second one gets chronoed as well. No Zealot in this opening. Twilight Council will go down on 100 gas. He's at 96. 100. Clicks it. 2 minutes 30 exactly. Beautiful play. Is this a rerun, right, guys? It's our daily question. I'm actually impressed it's taken this long to get that question. We never do reruns on our channel, but we are casting off replays. This is absolutely live. The channel is live. I am talking to you live. But No, the matches cannot be live. This is the best games of StarCraft show. If you're watching live on Twitch, the games themselves are the best games from the last week or two of StarCraft, which is why they are not live. Otherwise, we wouldn't know they're the best. We'd be taking a gamble on lying to our audience, which we wouldn't do that here, would we? Well, we would. We would, but not too often. We'd lose trust if we lied too often. Only a little bit of lying, you know? Depths First Marines, nice micro. You guys want to watch these ones on live? Usually every Saturday my time. Friday evening if you're in North America or Europe. Most of the content on our Pigcast channel comes from this day. A bit from the Pigstarcraft weekly or one or two other casts I'll squeeze in if something notable happens in the week, but the rest of the content on the channel is a bit more varied. Yeah, it gets very confusing. So people are like, is this live? And it's like, well, it's Twitch. It's always live for me. But then I realize there are Twitch content creators who basically just rerun their own stream on loop. Which I don't know. To me, it just never felt like what Twitch is for. You know, Twitch is meant to be a live interactive experience. I'm like, if you want to watch reruns, go watch YouTube, you know? I don't know. It feels always a bit weird. I know a lot of people say that apparently they can make quite a bit of cash doing that and stuff. To me, it just feels weird. Because then I'm going to have like people on in my live streams thinking they're talking to a replay, or in the past when I've tried it, the weirdest thing is I'd go watch my rebroadcast and there's someone in chat asking me questions. No matter how clear I make it in the title and stuff that it's a rebroadcast, there'd be people like, hey Pig, how's it going? How do I stop a 3 racks all in? And I'm like, oh. And then they'd just be able to be like, yeah, well, this guy's streamer doesn't talk to us much and stuff. And I'm like, oh man, this is so weird. Like, so people think I'm there live streaming at that moment. It's so odd. All right, guys. Stalker and Nexus is there. Adept still shading forward. Really good activity from MAXPAX on the front. Of course, that Raven sneaking around the top side. Bunker finally coming up. And he actually did a really good job of defending with those Marines, despite there not being a ramp. If there was an early Stalker, it would have really punished Clem's opening, potentially, because Stalkers can out-micro Marines and the single Hellion really well when you skip the bunker, but I guess he just knew. MAXPAX unlikely to build a Stalker until his 3rd gateway unit. That's too late to take advantage. Tank getting some shots off there. Adept will go down. Does at least know that there's multiple siege tanks, but I think the Observer already knew that, so not the best shade there. Probably should have cancelled it. Adept, sorry, Raven on the top right, ready to come into that main, but 3 Stalkers are ready for it. Forge and Robobay. Very early Robobay, guys. This is so different. MAXPAX never plays like this. This is the Estrella build. MAXPAX does not ever play this build. He always goes charge +1, a sentry, and an immortal before going Robobay, but he's played the quick 4-gas. He's going to start a Colossus before 6 minutes. If he can have a Colossus out before the stim units arrive and get, you know, up into that next one and so on, as well as having +1 in charge coming in behind it, this is all off just 3 gateways. Normally, I mean, Australia would do this off 2 gates, right? He'd be crazy greedy. But look at that, 200 gas just soon after the Robobay finishes. Chronos the Colossus. I'm very impressed. It's good to see MAXPAX changing things up. I really enjoy that. Now, Clem, of course, is just playing super respectful, safe. He's got bunker on the front, 2 tanks, stim and shields coming in. There is an argument that if you had an early prism, you could still blink in, focus down stim, and use the prism to pick up the weak stalkers and then get out of there, because the bio can't really move around to punish you in time. 3rd command center's almost. So it's a pretty quick 3rd CC. I don't think Clem's too far behind, but he's going to have to contest with those Colossus, and I think MAXPAX has shown an ability to engage with the Colossus so very well. A bit shy on the 200 gas here to start the 2nd Colossus. But there you go. You can see how aware he was of how much he needed it. He was also supply blocked, so there we go. Pylon finishes, Colossus starts. 5 more gateways coming in. 4th Nexus at 650. You want to take a 3rd, I'm going to take a 4th. Protoss wants to be 1 step ahead on the bases because they don't have mules, and their basic units tend to trade a bit less efficiently than the Terran. Not always the case, but generally. But Pig, what if nothing is live and everything is a recording? I think the answer to that you already know. So's your face. Gotcha. No Ghost Academy just yet? I would love... You know what I would love to see from Clem in this matchup, guys? Just once, do the Gumiho build. Fast 2nd Starport Fusion Core of 5 barracks. Skip the Ghost Academy, rush range libs. And the Energy Medevac upgrade. Wouldn't that... It would just be so cool to see him vary it up, but he kind of... Oh, he just killed his own tank! He saw MAXPAX coming forward. He's like, quick, kill the tank before he can do it. We don't want him to get the experience. We can't let the stalkers get carried, man. We can't let them get too much experience. We gotta go. And I'm like, damn, you been playing Dota, son? To be fair, guys, Clem is not only the world champion and the best player in the world right now, by far, he's also the guy who kills more of his own units than anyone else. MAXPAX comes in probably at number 2. They both play so fast that they'll occasionally just like, it's like their mouse slips and they accidentally A-click on their own army and kill one of their own units, but kind of expensive to kill a tank, dude. That's an expensive unit. Second Forge coming in now for MAXPAX. He's got 8 gates. The Robo's building the Prism. Zealots find themselves a Marine kill. Dude, the way Clem individually pulls back Marines. Ugh. There's an interest. I was reading comments on my channel this morning. Someone was saying, oh, Clem makes Terran look so disgusting. And I was like, I know I kind of say the same thing, but I think a better way we could word this is Terran makes Clem look disgusting. Does that... I'm not sure if this makes sense, but it sounds right. Like, if no one else can do it, like to the untrained eye, yes, he makes Terran look disgusting, but that's only... Once you know what you're looking at, you realize, like, Terran makes him look disgusting, right? Could he do what he does? Well, actually, I was going to say with Zerg or Protoss, yeah, he kind of can. We've seen his Protoss play is insane. I'm like, wait, this is a bad point, Pig. Reel that one in quickly. You didn't say anything. I'm like, oh, he has kind of been beating the best Terrans in the world in PvT recently, hasn't he? He's kind of been insanely solid in that matchup. He is a one-of-a-kind, man. A special talent. And that being said, I do expect Clem to get nerfed at some point. I just don't want to be the guy calling for it. You know, Beyond got nerfed, Serral got nerfed. A bunch of people, when they're real outliers for their faction, get their stuff nerfed at some point. It's probably going to happen with Clem eventually if he keeps up this level of performance. Don't know how you do it, though. You put an APM cap on him or something. Pig's argument. Clem is not that good. My argument for it is, oh wait, Clem's actually that good. Crap. Yeah. Yes, that sums up what I was just saying. Yeah, what can I say? I had to reel it back real quick, didn't I? 10 gateways coming up. 5th base is there. Disruptors are coming out. 2nd Robo's up. MAXPAX has him pinned, dude. I don't know, man. Clem's kind of been getting pinned more and more. Is it actually like... Is Protoss just way better in this matchup? Because it feels like... Since the patch, like, I don't know what's really changed. It just feels like MAXPAX is getting map control and forcing Clem to turtle more than he used to be able to. And I don't know what's happening. It's like, is Clem just being too defensive? Oh! No force fields left, though. Only that one. Zealot Stalker Colossus engages. The Bio Ball, only about half of it was there, but good stutter steps. And you can see in the trading, MAXPAX is actually out-trading Clem. Pulls back, doesn't let that warp in finish. Good call for MAXPAX. Now, this is the point in the game, guys, where you take 2 more gases on your 5th, take Storm, and go to that late game stage. Of course, I'm joking. MAXPAX will never do that. He does need to start his +2 armor, actually. That's such an important upgrade, and he hasn't started it. He's going up to 14 gates, +3 attack. Dude, he's got to start that armor upgrade, man. It's so vital. Zealots are running in the left side. He pokes in the front. He's trading so well. And honestly, Clem, he's having to split his army. He's finally got a 4th established with a planetary erect, but it feels to me like it is a very dangerous situation, right? When you're pinned like this, it's hard to dodge the disruptors. You're not being the one in control of the game. The Colossus come forward, trying to bait those Vikings, not able to get him. The planetary gets a few good shots off. It actually does good splash. 40 damage, splash damage. Good little AoE. It's not the craziest DPS, but it will damage the army over time. +2 armor finally starts. Very delayed on that. Blink Dark Shrine. Blink DT going down as well. MAXPAX, he's just poking around, looking for the openings. I wonder if there's room for a Prism to get in the main. Disruptor doesn't land on anything except a turret. Zealots have to pull back. MAXPAX continues to out-trade Clem here, guys, and that's really good for him. I think a Prism down this left could be massive, because he's got Clem split between 2 fronts. If he could open a 3rd one up, that's where things might just snowball. He's building that new Prism right now. Already lost his last one. Stalkers trying to get these Vikings, not able to. Dude, Clem's defensive micro has been excellent. And now the disruptors are empty. Disruptors are empty. He has to use a few force fields to try and cover his retreat. But guys, 2 of the Colossus have gone down. There's no Colossus up right now. Oh, Vikings doing so well. Zealot Stalker trying to fight out there. Clem's going to push. Clem's going to push. Clem senses an opening. He knows the Robo units around. MAXPAX separated from his own bases right. New ball does come off cooldown. Dodges it. Only lands on a single Marine. Zealot Stalker trying to engage. MAXPAX needs to run, rue. Let your hands be true. Because we're talking about a Japanese Ronald McDonald level of savagery from Clem right now. We're talking about this man. You see his silhouette in alleyway. You run the other direction because he is frightening. The bio chasing the Stalker to the corner. It's going to be a nice blink recall maneuver. MAXPAX trying to salvage what he can. Frantically chrono boosting disruptors 2 at a time. He's got a surprise shot. Oh, hot damn, 15 kills on that disruptor. Massive shot there. The observer setting him up for that. He came just to the edge of vision from the high ground, through it. Clem, no time to react. You can see the panic with the way he moved his army. That's so crucial. MAXPAX has a prism on the left, but the factory doesn't have good vision, hasn't seen it, and there's an opening. And he holds a goal for this prism. It's going to find its way right in. And, oh, he's actually waiting. I think he's waiting for his warp-ins to be available and something else to happen. MAXPAX doesn't want to use this opening and waste it. He's like, look, he's going to build turrets here once I go in. So I need to attack the front, distract him, pull his attention there, and then get the Zealot warp into the main. But Clem's realized there's a bit of a hole. He's starting to close the hole with a new turret that's building. And turrets only take about 18 seconds to build. Blinking forward to take out the bunker. There's still a tank in the back there. Disruptor shots going around the corner. You got to be careful, though. Those balls can't get too far forward. Zealots warping into the main base. Lands a disruptor. Sorry, I thought Clem was going to dodge that. Should not have pulled away with the camera there. He empties his disruptors. Zealot DT in the main base. Reactors going down. Prism's going to fly away. Beautiful maneuver for MAXPAX. He's so good at preserving those. Zealot DT finding big damage. If you could get another reactor on the other starport, that would be huge. Oh, no! MAXPAX forgot to wear his box. Oh, people say wear your mouth guard, but let's be real, guys. As men, if we're missing a few teeth, no one cares. But there are other parts of your body that are much more vulnerable, and that was brutal. MAXPAX left all 5 of his disruptors hanging out. He does another big warp in and gets good infrastructure damage, but you can see the fight turning against them as the landed Vikings and the Marines get a very efficient tail end of the fight against his forces. He is now down 4,000 resources in the units lost. Disruptors trying to rebuild. A sentry trying to build up here. There is a third Robo now, but it's not actually being used. I'd love to see the Colossus rebuild. Yes, the 7 Vikings, but I think, you know, they will find a use the longer this game goes. It's mostly a Stalker army here. There are 14 gateways. A big 14 Zealot warp in on that base would be good, but he only had 1 pylon there. This is why I always like to have 2 pylons in each base. In case one goes down. Got 1 more disruptor ready to fire. The next one cools down in about 10 seconds. This disruptor fires. Good shot, good shot. Forces Clem back, but oh, more units coming in from the north. More units coming in from the north. And he's not got the warp in point right there. But, oh, Clem a little sloppy with his micro, bro. Clem scans his own base. Looks like there was still a DT in there causing havoc. I don't know how the hell that was going so long. Zealot's hanging out as well. We do have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a 6th base on the right side for MAXPAX. He's on 3-2, but Clem has 3-3. Clem up 7,000 resources in the units lost. Looking fantastic as he floats his own 5th base down. He's had to take bases at a slower rate, but MAXPAX doesn't have any observers anymore. Like, no map vision. 1 observer on the map. No Colossus. He starts to rebuild them now. Goes forward with the Stalkers. Doesn't get much there. Only a single Marine. Liberators on the right side. Marine, Marauder, Ghost hanging out over there as well. Ooh, Zealot's jumping us up with the Marauder Ghost Rally. Nice moves here, but MAXPAX, it's the main army where he could find the value. Lands another Disruptor on 5 Marines. Not bad. Dude, I like the way he's poking. Doing some good poking, but he's got 2 Colossus out. There's still those 7 Vikings alive, but they're kind of off on the other side of the map. Defending run base. Clem's just playing defense simulated defend. You know, Protoss is just poking in and out, being annoying, trying to force mistakes. And Clem's whole thing is like, I will just try to defend and make as few mistakes as possible. As another Disruptor shot gets down there, gets a Marauder, gets a few Marines. Big attack, counter on the right side there. Recall could come in. MAXPAX's going to try and dive this base, but he doesn't actually have that many units that attack regularly. He's very reliant on the Disruptors here. Does end up clipping a few of his own Zealots. Gets rid of the Planetary, but he's losing a lot. And oh my god, the Stim Bio is savage. His 6th base goes down, as does his 5th. Meanwhile, his own army barely overwhelms this side, does MAXPAX. I mean, he does manage to overwhelm it, though. Hold. Oh, there's so much going on. There's a tank still in the back. That tank has been a massive nuisance. 10 kills on it. 10 Protoss kills. Nothing to scoff at, guys. The units lost tab. 9,000 in favor. 2 bases for 1. Yeah, Protoss normally has more bases. If MAXPAX was on 8 or 9 bases, I think he's okay with that trade. He was not. He was on 6 bases against 5. So you do not want to go back here to 4 base against 4. It's very good for Terran, very bad for Protoss, especially with the trading being the way it's been this game. Clem on 149 army supply. His worker count's not high. Does it need to be, though? Not necessarily. Not if he keeps fighting this efficiently. And MAXPAX takes the bottom left. Not rebuilding this base, not rebuilding that one, just sending zealots around the north. But libs are there. Stalkers blink forward. Oof, tank's getting some shots though. Zealots coming as well. EMPs. Disruptor Colossus doing their thing. Zealots, I mean, you could trade them to get a few SCVs. It's just not going to be super efficient. Not with those 2 libs sieged. Stalker Disruptor, Zealot poking in. MAXPAX does land a decent shot. His balls, though, do start to get dodged. Zealots pulling back. Marine Marauder on the top right side. Extra Sentry warping in right now. Guardian Shield has been excellent. I love how consistently MAXPAX uses Guardian Shield in these big fights, especially against the Vikings. You gotta remember, Vikings do 2 attacks, so the Guardian Shield is knocking 4 damage. Not just 2 off each time they attack. Very big in that regard. Uh-oh. Colossus need to pull away. Disruptor shot does go out. Stalkers trying to get rid of these Vikings. Dude, the Vikings getting good value. He loses a few, but it's worth. If you kill the Colossus for 3 Vikings, you're fine with that trade. You've still got 7, enough to take down the remaining 2 Colossus. Scanning the bottom left, realizing this is where I will win this game. Clem is going to push the bottom left. Stims forward right now, maybe a little bit over-eager. He does do a bit of a spready. It's interesting, he's a bit more defensive with his spreadies because MAXPAX has such a hefty Zealot count. You don't want to just YOLO into that. The Zealots will find good value. Trying to get those Zealots to charge into him away from the balls. Oh, he barely dodges them. The moment they go off, he runs forward and pounces. Force fields may be necessary here to hold on. Dude, look at that push for a Clem. Pushing through the choke point, trying to get through the force fields, and then when it looks a bit like it's a bit dicey, he just turns back and says, I'll grab the double discount base snipe in the bottom left, yeah? You can chase me if you want, but that means you're chasing into my bio. Easier to dodge disruptor shots when you're chasing me. Those probes do survive down there, but ooh, he has to stim to run. Zealot's warping in. He's going to turn. He's going to turn. He's going to turn. You can see the way MAXPAX is trying to set up this surround on him. But look at that. The disruptors are useless where they are. They cannot shoot from the rear there. They're trying to get in position, but it's basically just Zealot Stalker versus Bio. Clem isolates the army and fights only a little bit at a time. Disruptor shot finally lands, but he's already cleared the Zealot Stalker. Clem, excellent positioning, and I dare... Well, Protoss players, if you've got any kids around, shut their eyes, because that unit's lost tab. Oh, that's nasty. 14,000 resource lost advantage. 40,000 to 26,000. Clem ties up the series 1-1. All right, guys, going into game 3. MAXPAX in the top right, going for a gate scout against another barracks gas opening into... Ooh, no second gas. Oh, Clement. Clement playing so standard again. I was like, dude, he's spamming double gas recently. I did not expect him to go back to the 1-Rax expand, but wants the economy. And with that nice natural ramp, I was talking about it in the last game, very easy to defend this ramp. Adepts can still spot the high ground with shades, but just gives you that bit of in between. If they do go stalkers, easy to stop. So we were talking about the metric system just before. People said time is still base 12. You all don't use metric on that or the year. That's actually a good point. They should update it, right? Is there any reason not to update time and dates to be metric? Like, why don't we just have 10 hours in the day and make an hour, you know, what is currently 2.4 hours, right? It'd be so much easier to figure out. I mean, not for us, but for people that grow up with it in the future, right? For us, our brains would break for the next 30 years while we try to adjust. But for everyone else, they'd be like, this is great. The Gregorian calendar has nothing to do with metric versus standard? No. I mean, why don't we just change the days so we can have like 100 days in a year, though? This is the problem. People on the internet, they're always like, oh, you can't do that, because there's always this like belief in the establishment. And you guys know we could just wind the sun up different, right? You guys are like, no, that would be too hard. It would take too many. Guys, we can just wind the sun up different. It'll be fine. Like, it'll be totally good. Yeah. They'd still make you work 8 hours a day, even though there's only 10 hours in the day. Like, guys, we forgot. We thought this would be great. There's only 10 hours in a day, but now we still have to work 9 to 5, which is crazy. Actually, wait, 9 to 5. You could argue 9 to 5 is only a 6-hour day in that scenario, right? because there's only 10 hours in the day. So you're like, it's 6 hours. It's still 60% of the time, which is a massive increase from the current 33% of the time in a day for 8 hours, but at least it's not 80%. Look for the small positives. Thank you, Mundaney, with the 4-month resub as well. Ooh, Dep's gonna fall back. One Marine goes down. Apparently, during the French Revolution, the French tried 10-hour days. No, really? Is that a thing? That's cool. Yeah. I mean, trying it nowadays would be hard. People back then would have been even less educated. Can you imagine the resistance from some illiterate guy? Then again, I guess the illiterate guys wouldn't even matter. Yeah, it's kind of hard to change things like that when like 80% of your country doesn't know how to read, right? There's some 10-hour clocks in museums. Oh, that's cool. All right, guys. Adept shading, getting good vision. We've got medevac coming in. So it's just going to be a little marine drop by the looks of it. Let's have a Hellion out and a Widow Mine as well. So it could bring... Actually, marine mine drop is pretty common. Do the Marines actually push? He's trying to ambush these adepts. MAXPAX Micro has been really good. Third gas goes down nice and early for Maxi. Gonna allow him to build more Stalkers. Second and third gateway coming up. Very standard play for him. And Hellion tries to drive out. Does take a few hits. Medevac is on the map, isn't it? Where is it? Oh, we're doing the classic. This is what we call the scouting drop, guys. This makes sure your opponent's not doing like a sneaky Dark Shrine. It forces some units to be at home, but it is such a small commitment that you're not leaving yourself open to like a 4-gate blink or anything, because you're still being able to build the tech lab, build tanks, build Raven to deal with the Observer, all that stuff as early as possible. Units lost tab is pretty clean for it, MAXPAX, completely clean, whereas 2 Marines and an SCV being picked off is a good start. But you got to pay attention. Now, MAXPAX, known for pulling his units at the last second, actually pulls preemptively here, which is pretty nice. I don't like leaving the units there is really bad. Pull! You got to pull away, MAXPAX, you have to pull off gas, bro. Come on. It's CLEM. Guys, you got to realize, against me, that's going to work. Just waiting for me to stop retargeting the mine. CLEM's just going to retarget the mine for 5 minutes and make it so you can't do anything. Oh, that's crazy, dude. Hellion's still denying the base, dude. I mean, two probes did go down to the mine shot and a bit of mining time. Pretty good value for what he had. But oh, here we go, Stalker push. It's focusing the Marines. Oh, he loses a Stalker and an Adept. And another Stalker. Bad Prism Micro for MAXPAX. I mean, MAXPAX were used to being so clean. He gets a few Marines there, guys. But losing Stalkers and Adepts, not worth it. The Adepts is okay. The 2 Stalkers is unacceptable for that. There's no tank or anything. Like, he really should have found an opening. There's 2 tanks in the main. No second bunker on the natural. But here we go. He's going to go again. Tank coming in, tank coming in, tank coming in. Tank's a bit too far forward. He needs to run that tank away. The tank's going to go down. The Stalkers do try to focus it. Oh, Auto Turret comes in to try to add some damage. Bunker as well. SCV is looking pretty good, though. He's going to try and blink and run away. Prism tries to save a few. He gets a tank, gets 3 SCVs. He does lose another 4 Stalkers, though. Meanwhile, Medevac does fly home. Looks like the Widow Mine did go down. Third Nexus coming up as well. MAXPAX is going to go again. There is no chill in this game, guys. He's going to try and take out the bunker. Can he get it in 3 shots? He can. He's lost 1 Stalker only. He's getting a few SCVs. Great damage, great damage, great damage for MAXPAX. Oh, he does lose another Stalker, though. He's got to be careful. Every Stalker that goes down is worth, like, several Marines and SCVs. You can see in the units lost tab, he's still behind. 10 Stalkers have died. Yes, he's killing workers. If he could rotate in the main, that'd be great, but look at this tank line. That tank line is just unbreakable, and he's still building tanks. Blinking in here with the 4-gate blink. Gets a tank, gets a Raven. He loses a lot of Stalkers, though. Oh, another Stalker goes down, and it feels like MAXPAX just slightly off on his Stalker pickups, and because of that, it's dead even on the units lost, and you're only up a few workers. I think it's time for MAXPAX to rein it in, stop warping in Stalkers. You can make a sentry if you want, fill it up with energy, run it across the map. So if CLEM moves down his ramp, you force field his ramp with 2 force fields and split him. He's gonna blink in the Mad Dog. MAXPAX says, go hard or go home. I've been watching Heroes play, and I've realized the secret to his success is not giving an F. Basically throwing bananas at your opponent until they fall off the cliff, and oh my gosh, he just does look kind of hero-esque with how many units he's throwing away, let's be real. That was bad. He's still warping in Stalkers on the front. I mean, how many tanks has he killed? He's killed only 2 tanks. That's not enough. To be fair, I feel like he killed a 3rd one. Maybe CLEM killed one of his own tanks? Or maybe this is just the 5th tank now popping out. Marine Marauder there. Still 2 tanks in the main. And I think it's time to rein it in. Charge, Forge, probe production. MAXPAX has been trickling out the probes. I think he's in a playable spot. One has to look at where the upgrades are. How long do you have before the push comes? Scan goes down. Observer will fall. Medevacs are about to start. Stim is finished. Shields halfway done. Marauder production is here. Extra tanks are building. There's going to be a 4 siege tank push coming out. 3rd command center is halfway done. 4th and 5th barracks. Feels like Clem's supply is looking good. On the other hand, 60 probes. If MAXPAX can squeeze a 4th Nexus in and deflect the first pushes, it'd be great. I do feel the sentry ambush here is hugely underrated, by the way, guys. I think it's one of the best moves on this map that you should always be looking for, is that sneaky sentry with the energy refill, just looking for the opening. Good spread of units for Clem, not leaving any openings. Yeah. Zealot Drop's going to pull around. He's going to try to come in this right side, but there's already a turret building. Stalkers poke forward. Bunker and tank do defend. Robo Bay coming down now, as well as extra gateways. That's going to be 6 gate and Colossus production off of a 4th Nexus that's coming up. More probes coming in as well. MAXPAX threw away a lot of Stalkers, but how many SCVs did he kill? 12. Mining time, multiple tanks, a Raven. He did kill a lot of stuff. I think it's really important that Clem sniped the Observer. If that Observer didn't get sniped, it would have been huge. He's still got a new Observer, though, actually, that replaced it, so... Oh, yeah, MAXPAX. And he sees the army pull back. He knows it's not a real push. Zealot Drop tries to go in. Turret blocks it. Ooh, leaving that siege there is so dangerous. If Clem happens in that direction, it's good. He also got the Observer. Dude, leaving a full prison there scares me, Matt. Zealot Stalker hanging out. Where's the first Colossus, guys? It needs to be starting, but he's supply blocked. Oh, no! He's supply... Wait. His fourth is going to unsupply block him in a second. Okay, it's not too bad. Colossus now finally beginning. No extended thermal lance for it just yet, though. Zealots on the left get a Marine and then run away. Does evade the concussive shells. Oh! That actually lets Clem know he forgot concussive shells. And he does start it up now. +1 armor halfway done. Bunker on the 3rd base. Something. Oh, big hallucinated Archon attack comes in. Zealot Stalker Immortal. Crazy attack. He's going to try and find these tanks. And they're in the open. Dude, oh, that is a huge snipe there. You should just run away now as MAXPAX, right? As he doesn't quite have surface area on the bio, but a beautiful play. Zealot's going to the natural, and if he comes down this ramp, you could force field trap him again. Beautiful engagement here. The tank's all in the open. Clem gets punished. Oh, good force field traps a few Marines and Marauders, but Clem insta saves them, and MAXPAX may have to fall back now. He gets 7 SDVs, good damage on the natural, but the bio army's there. Prism, a bit exposed. Zealot still denying some mining in the natural. He blinks to try and dodge that Widow Mine shot. Not sure if he was able to or not. Marine Marauders starting to fall, but I think without another Zealot warping, he'll be in trouble. Does get rid of the Viking, though. The more Zealots coming in. This is huge. MAXPAX has Clem on the ropes. 4 base against 3 base. Kills all of his tanks. Kills all of his important units. Gets rid of the Viking as well. And his first Colossus is here. 2nd Colossus building. MAXPAX, as long as he uses the Prism to save it, he might just have Clem down here in this best of 3. I really thought MAXPAX was going to be maybe overcommitting, but the way he just keeps going in and out, forcing the bio to stim, the medevacs are completely out of juice. The bio cannot heal itself. He's saying, chase into my Colossus, chase into my Stalkers. If you do, I'm going to gun you down. But if you disengage, you cannot heal. You've already committed to the stim pack. You have to make something happen right here, right now, and you're just not able to. 2nd Colossus waddling across the map right now. 3rd Colossus building, +2 attacks on the way. Who needs extended thermal lance when you are this confident? MAXPAX finding those 3 tanks was a game changer, and he really utilized the positioning of this map. Clem did not have anywhere to hide those tanks. Probably should have tried to ferry them behind the mineral line with his medevacs, but just missing that little detail to be safe against a very odd timing, something MAXPAX almost never does, and MAXPAX has caught him off. Now, to be fair, if you lose these Colossus, you are still screwed. Maybe not screwed, but, you know, Clem can get back in it. He's building a 4th command center somewhere. Where is that? In his natural. Clem could stabilize, maybe, but, man, no Vikings. 1 Viking out, 2 more about to pop. I don't know if that's enough to deal with this army. That bunker on the left could tank a little bit, but... interesting that MAXPAX is respecting him as he takes a 5th base. Forge is making +2. I'd love to see that 2nd Forge. Those armor upgrades come in. Stalkers blink back in. MAXPAX, 0 chill in this game. He senses he's got the advantage, and he knows if he keeps on fighting, he can wear Clem down. Clem cannot afford to keep stimming. The Colossus focusing the Marines and the Marauders down. Clem has to tap out. MAXPAX doing so well against the Barracks Gas expands. Wins that series 2-1, and he's going to force a 3rd and final best of 3. Alright, guys. We're going to the 3rd and final series to decide it all. Clem in the bottom right side of the map. And MAXPAX is going to be opening up with a MAXPAX build? No. He's going across. First pylon at home so we can keep up probe production. 2nd one to build his first gateway on this side of the map. Now, what he's hoping for here, ideally, Clem does another 1-Rax expand. He's been doing a lot of them. Let's see, if he changes the rally point to the 2nd gas, MAXPAX will be sad. He's not. He's going to go 1-Rax expand. All right, so MAXPAX is going to build 2 Zealots and then a Stalker out of here. He's going to have nothing at home to defend the Reaper, but he can always recall or use a battery to defend that. And of course, he will build the Cyber Core at home as well, and he'll take a pretty quick Nexus. So the Nexus is not that delayed with this build, because unlike the proxying a second gate builds, it's only proxying one. Now notice he pulled his probe back to make this look like a normal gate scout. Like he built the gateway at home and then scouted. I still think he might be coming in a little bit too early for that. Maybe that makes Clem suspicious, I'm not sure. Oh, probe's going to pull around. Just going to rotate a bit. Pig, we need to do another subathon. We don't have one planned just yet, but probably plan one. And I want to do a lot more effort into the next one. This last one was a little half-baked. Got kind of reminder of all the lessons of how to do a subathon and make it really fun and engaging. Probably do, I think, 12 hours a day of just non-stop action and stuff. Less of the live cam stuff, more just gameplay and challenges and all sorts of things. Well, a few of those other things, but not too many. And I'll make sure the challenges are all real doable, just fun little things that we can get done every day so that we're not having the flow-on effect where we've got like a backlog of stuff we haven't got to. But we'll probably do one in the next few months. Got a big Europe trip planned in the middle of the year, so maybe before there. Be a good time to do a subathon then. It's taking damage. Command center. Did he just insta-cancel? Whoa, whoa, whoa. He just insta-canceled his command center, guys. Damn, Clem respecting this. Oh my gosh. Dude, that's discipline. He knew if he tried to defend that, he'd get in trouble. Oh, that's huge. I don't think it's bad for MAXPAX by any means. I think it's still a good start. But, like, you know, if he tries to fight it, you kill a few Marines, you kill the Reaper, you kill a few SCVs, it can be massive. Instead, Command Center is already rebooting on the high ground. Bunkers up, Marines get inside. And MAXPAX just has to go home. Now, does he recall? He's relying on the battery, so he's not going to recall. He'll just run his Stalker home, I imagine. Reaper's going to run in. And he could always recall to the natural, of course. When that one finishes, it'll have 50 energy available. Twilight Council does go down. Battery finishes as the Reaper arrives. Textbook build order for Maxi. Is he going to recall? No, he's just going to wait for the Stalker to come back. The shield battery can out-heal a Reaper. It's going to take a long time before it runs out of energy. Pig, what's your overall thoughts on balance after the last patch? PvZ got a lot better for Protoss. ZVT seems like the map pool's way better, but otherwise unchanged, I guess. I don't know. I haven't seen enough Zerg versus Terran, really. We've seen mostly Protoss versus Zerg, especially with what? Clem kind of fell out playing his off race to Spirit in one of the big recent tournaments we saw, one of the major tournaments, Masters Coliseum. And then in the Luli tournament, didn't he lose to... Was it MAXPAX who eliminated him? I'm trying to remember who eliminated Clem. Because wasn't it like Cyril MAXPAX... Cyril Hero played the finals of Masters Coliseum, and then it was Cyril MAXPAX, I think, for the Luli finals, if I'm remembering. Or was it Cyril Clem? I'm forgetting, actually, now. Oh, it was it was Clem MAXPAX in the finals, wasn't it? Oh, yeah, it was. Dude, this is so efficient for Clem. Dude, no, you can't lose that Stalker MAXPAX. Okay, he did get blocked by his own Marine. He's still got to get out. Dude, this Cyclone is so good. Oh, that Cyclone is so good. Dude. Units lost tab. This went from a good start to a bad position now. 2 Zealots, a Stalker, a Probe, and a Pylon. Oh, this is rough. Yeah, it's... Clem won the first best of 3, guys. MAXPAX won the second one. We are now starting a third best of 3 in the series. Oh, this is rough. This is very rough. MAXPAX, it felt like it should have been a good start, but now that Cyclone got all the value it needs to. And it's a 3 racks all in. Well, maybe not an all in, actually. He's building a starport. He'll still go into medevacs after this. But yeah, just a single tank shuts that down, realizes there can't really be blink aggression because you've killed one of your opponent's gates. And he's like, yeah, I can just go medevacs and eBay. Hallucinated Phoenix does at least see what's going on. And the Robo coming up for Maximus. He's got 2 gate blink. 3rd and 4th gateway goes down. Observer, 3rd gas. Charge is next on the menu. Doesn't quite have the minerals for it. Starport's there. Engineering bay coming up in the back. Stalker's blinking back. Marine Marauder hanging out. Tanks doing their thing. All right, guys, we've got 48 probes against 43 SCVs. Work base up top, doing good. Long distance mining. A few stalkers warping in. Third and fourth gateway are there. Fifth and sixth gateway building. Charges on the way as well. Pick of the worker change proposals gaining any traction? No. Pro gamers won't even try playing it. A lot of players, I think, are a bit depressed because there hasn't been news about the World Championship. And unless I'm going to put up a whole bunch of money or just get the same players over and over again, if I want to play more with it, I'm going to get semi-pros. I think semi-pros are actually more interesting for trying out new things. But the full-time pros are kind of just playing the same when you give them experimental things until you actually give them weeks and months on it, where it's the main way of doing it. And as far as I can tell, there's no discussion going on behind the scenes about serious balance changes right now because there's so much, no one's sure of what's happening. So no one seems to be discussing this stuff. From what I can tell, but who knows? Maybe it's going on behind the scenes where I'm not privy to it. Stalker Sentry hanging out. Medevac's going to rotate to the back. Clem's going to push through the middle. This is a scary push right now. 8 Marines going to drop behind that natural. Stalker's trying to move up as well. Ooh, okay. Zealot Stalker is there hanging out, trying to clean up that Medevac. The Medevac goes down. Almost goes down. Does survive. Cyclone Marine Marauder tank on the right side, though. MAXPAX just not in position. He's supply blocked badly right now, guys. The mistakes are stacking up for MAXPAX. He comes in from behind. He will get the tank. Take out a few Marines and Marauders with those Stalkers. Blinks away with them. He's got charge, but he just doesn't have any numbers, man. He's got like a couple Zealots, a couple Sentries, a few Stalkers on the backside. Blink off cooldown though, or on cooldown. It was still trying to cool down, I should say. 2 more Stalkers do fall. Third command center, where is it, guys? It's in the natural. 4th and 5th barracks is almost done. So Clem, right now, he's up 22 army supply, and he's got a decent economic transition behind it with his worker count only down by a few. Stalker Zealot's trying to hang on, but with no Robo Bay here, it just feels like MAXPAX way too far behind the curve, and he's only now building pylons because he was losing units, so he was able to kind of warp in for a bit there, not realizing how blocked he was. Widowmine drop's going to go towards the main base. Just a cute way of adding some extra pressure and problems for MAXPAX. Not a reliable move, but something that's a very cheap commitment and can cause a big amount of damage. Zealot's getting picked off. Marine Marauder kiting. We've got a Prism coming in for a Zealot drop on the left side as well. Drops a single Zealot. Marine Marauder cleans it up. Zealot on the front, starting to attack. Feels like MAXPAX has done a good job of surviving here. He's being a bit annoying. I just feel like he's still so fragile. He doesn't quite have enough Stalkers to 2-shot. Wait, he has +1. Yes, he does. Once you have +1 attack, you can kill a Medevac in 8 shots rather than 9. So, nice knowledge from MAXPAX, realizing he didn't need the 5th Stalker there. Ooh. It's a big enough bio army, you can't chase that. MAXPAX desperately needs that 4th base. He's doing a good job of hanging in, but it just feels like he's so far behind the curve. Like, no extended thermal lance, down 5 workers on a Terran is disastrous. Couple Stalkers dying, they're expensive units. You can't be affording to throw Stalkers away like this unless you can get a really good engagement, which I don't think you can right now. Warp Prism did survive. It's on the left side of the map. The bio's just hanging. Do we have a Ghost Academy? No Ghost Academy just yet. That'll probably be the next thing to go down here for Clem. He does have +1 attack. No +1 armor just yet either. Interesting. There we go. +1 armor, more bio, more mines. You can tell the way MAXPAX keeps Clem so busy on his micro, but he's just going to have so much stuff. And that's where the problems lie for MAXPAX. 3 more depots finishing, avoiding any sort of big supply block. Oh, the Cyclone doesn't chase, though. But it doesn't matter because its range is literally 4 billion. Takes the Prism out with the Cyclone lock-on scan combo. Marine Marauder Widowmine over there. I think, honestly, if Clem gets a drop in the main, it's a win condition right now. MAXPAX does not have the map vision to see this. He's got a few Zealots, 1 Observer on that side. But if Clem can get a drop in the main, it is just game over. It's lights out. What do you got? 15 Zealots, 2 Colossus, an Immortal, 9 Stalkers, 2 Sentries. You got Extended Thermal Lance. It's still nowhere near done. +1 armor coming in. Couldn't even afford to get +2 attack. Normally something that's so important for Colossus to do damage to these Marines and Marauders. Fire coming forward. A couple Stalkers do go down. So it's trying to hang out. Chase into this. The Colossus looking for those big hits, but only landing on the Marauders. Good force fields. Dude, that pickup is obscenely fast. Clem anticipated the force fields, and he was already moving the Medevacs forward before the force field landed. So they just effectively neutered by Clem realizing what was going to happen before it happened. Picked up, pulled behind the force fields, and he is still just on the front with a 60 supply advantage, 45 of which is army supply. Marine Marauder Mine Viking getting ready to push in, and MAXPAX right now is like, I need you to move command into my army. If you can do that for me, I can bring this back. Clem's like, yeah, I'm not going to do that, buddy. MAXPAX is like, please, pretty please. Come on. I think Clem, he realizes, just don't mess this up. Keep kiting those Zealots, and the moment there's not enough Zealots left, he'll run forward in a second. He'll go for the Colossus. Zealots coming from behind. Great. Force field, Zealot trap. Dude, that engagement from MAXPAX was actually masterful. I just don't think he has the numbers to follow it up. Clem actually getting chased back, but he's got a massive blob of blue units arriving on the minimap. Dude, that was such a slick Zealot surround with the force fields coming in from behind. MAXPAX showing the moves. I love it when a dead man punches his opponent in the crotch once or twice before he bleeds out, you know? MAXPAX pulling out that martyrdom perk from old school Call of Duty, pulls out his pistol on the ground and shoots the guy a few times before getting finished off. A couple probes do go down there. Zealot's gonna take care of that Marine. Stalkers get a medevac as well. Colossus hanging out. Stalkers, Zealot doing what they can. Oh me, oh my. Stalkers engaging the Marauders, trying to do what they can. Okay, we've got a 4th Nexus over there on the left side. That wasn't Martyrdom? Oh, Martyrdom was the grenade. Last stand. Good point, chat. Martyrdom's where you drop a grenade. That's where you pull the pin on the grenade. Yeah. That makes more sense. It's been a while, man. Call of Duty games, not the best. I don't play many Call of Duty games anymore these days. I basically, it's like, you know, when you're young, you can eat McDonald's every day and feel fine. Same thing, you play a lot of Call of Duty when you're like 15 and you feel fine. The older you get, the more you're like, there's just better things I can put in my body, you know? Like, there's better games to play, you know? I'm like, yeah, I could just eat a Big Mac and nugs and chips every day. Or, how about, maybe, just maybe, I eat something that isn't going to make me feel like garbage tomorrow, you know? Stalkers getting caught out there. Marine Marauder goes Viking, pushing forward, trying to engage. Where's those EMPs? First one lands on the Stalkers. Sentries and Colossus pull back. Zealot flank getting ready. MAXPAX down 50 army supply. Down an upgrade with a really bad position. He blinks to dodge the Widow Mine. He blinks forward. Those Zealots trying to chase after this. The Colossus trying to come in. The Vikings not doing that much. MAXPAX right now is showing an ability to survive second to none. Is he going to win this game? I give him a 0.3% chance, guys. But he's got a 4th base mining. He's finally getting a +2. He's starting disruptor production. He's squeezing some probes out. Like, this is the thing. It's fascinating to see him survive this long against Clem, because I always have the feeling when I play a pro player that is like way out of my level, and I can get a lead doing some tricky BS, doing a cheesy build or whatever, I can just never finish them. They can just micro so well and survive and slowly drag their way back into the game while I'm like a bit too tense and not doing my basics well enough. And MAXPAX is kind of doing that versus Clem here, where he's just refusing to die. He's forcing Clem to be way more patient than he wants to be. Finally, Clem finds the angle, pushes in, gets the win. But boy, did he have to work for it. All right, guys, great game 1 victory there for Clem in the final best of 3 that will decide it. MAXPAX in the top right. I like the mixing up of the openings. We've seen Storm drop in this series, right? We've seen the fast Colossus build. We've seen a MAXPAX opening. To me, it feels like MAXPAX is doing a good job of varying up his openings. Now, what's interesting, guys, what do we not see from Clem in this series? Not a lot of double gas. I thought we'd see a lot more of it. I thought we'd be seeing more proxy, like we'd see a Hellion drop at some point. Not seeing any Hellion drops. What I do like from Clem is we haven't seen a lot of double or triple mine drops. I think the saddest thing, not the saddest, that's a bit of a strong. I was a little disappointed last time I watched Maru play in Masters Coliseum, because it felt like he was using builds from like 6 months ago. He was just doing like triple Widow Mine drop every game, getting it completely shut down by hallucinations or Phoenix openings, and just falling way behind. And it just felt like he hadn't watched any of Clem's games. It's not like, oh, Clem's just smarter and better than Maru, he should copy him. It's Clem has played a billion times more of this patch in the PTR, the testing, and since it's been released than any other Terran player. His number of games is out there. Like, if you're a pro player trying to learn a new patch, a new set of balance, new maps, you should always be watching, you know, one of the top players that's been grinding it the longest, because they figured out the most things, and
I remember it felt like Maru had not watched a single Clem game with the way he played his series in Masters Coliseum. Haven't seen him play in the last month since he got knocked out of Masters Coliseum at the end of December. Hoping to see him return soon in a few of the upcoming big tournaments. Clem is too good and fast to replicate. I mean, I'm not saying you completely copy his style. I'm not saying you just like... That's actually a mistake. This is like, it's not a bad comment from you guys in chat. Shout out to Jody. But it's one of those things like low-level players and a lot of just, I say low-level, non-pros, let's be specific. They always do this thing where they're like, oh, watching another player means you just write down exact things like, 2 minutes and 23 seconds, I need to chrono boost my gateway or something like, you know, and you just try to copy it with no context or understanding. Pros never do that. You might look at something and be like, oh, it's interesting. He's not Widow Mine dropping. He's doing a Marine drop opening more commonly or only a single mine drop. Okay, I might try to do that, you know. It's just, you know, that's not crazy multitasking. Obviously, if Clem's microing 4 places at once with bio, dodging disruptor shots, landing EMPs, etc., and queuing libs into your base at the same time, you might not copy that part of his game. But looking at the openings that are working for him, the ones that aren't working, you as well as what the opponents are doing versus it, you can really get a good understanding for the meta. And that can inform your decisions from there. Pros never blindly copy, but they do learn from each other a lot. Oh, Hellion pops at the right time. That's actually good for Clem, because the Reaper hops up. Reaper and a Hellion will make quick work of the Adept. Because you can always pull back with the Hellion. That's why the Reaper, the Adept, sorry, isn't committing. Oh, he's sending Adept in the natural as well. Oh, did he get anything down here? No. Doesn't really get anything. Goes for the Hellion. Doesn't quite get it. And he's got the Shade for safety. Nice move from MAXPAX to try to get that value, but Clem too solid. Extra pylon goes down. Third gateway. Robo's on the way. Blink coming in. Back to stock standard stuff. Meanwhile, Clem going for an early tank. Now, he could go for a medevac and turn this into a push. I don't think he's going to try to, but if he gets this Adept snipe, maybe. The Hellion die, by the way? Where is that? Oh, no, it's up here in the main. Hellion plus Marines can definitely hunt down the Adept. Hey Pig, no Terran seems to SCV scout in TVZ except Clem. Oh, they do. Terrans always SCV scout if they expect their opponents to try to cheese them and if they feel favored in a macro game already. Clem's just the only Terran who feels favored when he's playing Serral, Raynor, Dark, these sorts of guys, Rogue. The other players feel like they're not good enough to take those guys if they, you know, cut a bit of economy to do an SCV scout. They also aren't expecting to get cheesed by those Zergs as much because those Zergs know they can beat them in straight up games. But when Clem's playing, he knows people are just like, what? If there's a 30% gamble I can take, like a chance to win that's only 30%, people will still take it versus him. So people will take low percentage chance builds against him that they wouldn't be taking versus a Terran that they're favored against. Adept does go in and get taken down. So it's kind of this thing where because Clem's so good and he's kind of favored in the standard game, he's happy to cut a bit of economy, send that barrack scout across, make sure he's not getting pull first or anything like that in a TVZ. And that's the... I'm so good at this game, I can afford to play it a bit more safe, right? He's very predictable in that matchup, guys. This is a 3-gate blink, not a 4-gate. Still hits pretty early, though. 9 Stalkers. I think it's well worth blinking in for this tank. Actually, it's a lot of Marines. It's a lot of Marines. It's not worth blinking into that, yeah. Because that's like 8 Marines, 9 plus 4... yeah. That's 13 Marines will do too much damage. Now, he can blink up if he wants, but... oh, he's going to go for it. Is he going to get it? Oh my gosh, he's ferrying across the building wall. Dude, MAXPAX with a crazy move gets the tank. It cost him, I think, only 1 Stalker. That was actually so cool. We've been thinking about this tank with this wall off as basically a brick wall that you just cannot get past. But if he has too many Marines on the natural, doesn't have any support, you can do that. And only 1 Stalker for 1 tank. Great trade. Yeah, he loses some hit points, but I think that's still good. That puts the pressure on him. Clem has to keep building siege tanks to make sure he stays safe. And meanwhile, the Raven looking to come into the auto turret. Stalker's there, ready to blink down. No. Yes. No. Oh. Doesn't want to get baited, I guess. He's just going to put 1 on each side. He doesn't want to blink to the low ground and then have the Raven just drive into his main, so he's going to chill. Stalkers pick off a Marine. Good micro. Observer does go down, though. Great snatch there for Clem as his 3rd command center is almost done. 4th and 5th barracks building in the back. And MAXPAX, he's only up a handful of probes, but as these last few come out, he will have a fully mining 3rd, and it's minerals that matters more than gas. In general. Don't get me wrong, the longer the game goes, gas will matter more when you're big maxed out armies, lots of tech, lots of upgrades. But right now, when you're clashing in the middle, when you're just turning this big economy you've both built into your initial armies, minerals means more zealots, more Marines, more marauders, and that is what usually will win you the fight. It's the zealot numbers, the Marine count, the marauder count. 8 gateways coming up right now, and a Templar Archives. He's going to go Storm. It's a delayed Storm, though, a very delayed Storm. So this is like Zealot Stalker style for a little bit into Storm. 4 pylons going down. MAXPAX hitting a little bit of a supply block as he is on 4 gases. Interesting. Yeah, 4 gas, I guess, pretty standard for this style. Enough to get a few High Templar with Storm. But otherwise, mostly Zealot focused, and he will go for the quick 4th. 7 minutes that started. It's a close game. I would say units lost tab probably decides who's winning in this sort of game. So MAXPAX slightly ahead, but the observers keep getting sniped. That's really annoying. It's actually so annoying. Storm starts up. He's going to chrono it. High Templar, number 1, already warping in. I'd love to see him energy recharge that immediately. Yes! Max... Guys, this is like, you know... Okay, does anyone have like a partner or like a child or something where you've been telling them something would be good for them? You're like, come on, eat your broccoli. It's good for you, little Jimmy, for like 10 years, and they refuse to eat it. And then one day you sit down at dinner, you've given up, and then they do it, and you're like, you're eating your broccoli. This is me. I've been shouting at MAXPAX for however long this patch has been out now to please energy recharge the moment you warp in a unit. Hero as well. Every Protoss Pro player. MAXPAX has built the habit. I'm so happy. I'm so proud. Australia was doing this since day 1. But these guys who are a bit more, you know, the top 2 players of the Protoss faction have just figured it out recently. Because now when the push comes, you can have another energy recharge full, which is great. I love how early that is. It's just these little details, and this is the stress of StarCraft. So it's not like it's easy to do this stuff, like just to clarify, because you guys, why don't players just do what you say or do what other players say? Like Rotterdam always has a point about this, the players never do it. The reason is StarCraft's really hard. These guys are doing 1,000 things at once, and I might make it sound kind of simple. The only thing that's simple is the fact that these guys are so bloody good, but he's going to go for a big bust. If you can get Zealots on the tanks, it could be good. Prism's not in there. Prism's not there, though. Prism is not there. He's got to wait for the Storm Drop, mate. Goes in way too early, does MAXPAX. Here we go, though. Storm Drop. Where's the Storm Drop? Oh, he gets a Storm Drop, but he's not in the right position. Zealots on the other side, not able to break through. The mass repair in the mineral line, keeping that tank alive. He's got to repair it again, got to repair it again, got to repair it again. If that tank can survive, that will be massive. He unsieges his tank so that he doesn't kill himself with friendly fire. The tank getting mass repaired. It refuses to go down. A harem of SCVs all touching up that tank at the same time, keeping it topped up on its hit points. Auto turrets go down. Widowmines falling or landing their shots as well. And the Widowmine splash and all that doing really well. I think MAXPAX... Oh, he lands a big storm, but he loses his Prism. It was a huge botched engagement there, guys. MAXPAX went in, and his Prism was still in warp-in mode. I think he clicked it to the front, thinking he told it to unsiege. It was a blunder. A blunder, because then he goes in, realizes the Prism isn't there, pulls back on both sides. He's already taken a few volleys of tanks. CLEM knows the attack's coming at that point. He's had warning. So is this like literally announcing to your opponent you're about to attack and letting him get the first volley on you for free? And when he did come in, the Prism was over here, which meant he couldn't unload. So he flew the Prism in from this angle, tried to unload. He couldn't. He had to fly there, and then even then he only unloaded a single High Templar, and he went back over this dead area where he couldn't squeeze the High Templar out of the Prism, and that's so unfortunate. So MAXPAX maybe hasn't done this. We know he doesn't play Storm that much. Hasn't done it on this map before, probably, or not very often. It kind of runs into a mistake of his own, and then a bit of an architecture of the map that he wasn't maybe aware of, that little area that's undroppable. Command center floats to the bottom side, armor coming in. Like, obviously, if he looked at it, he knows he can't drop there, guys. But what I mean is, like, he wasn't thinking about it in the moment. Yeah, I can always preemptively hear the comment of one person who takes me in bad faith. High Templar do get hit by siege tanks. Zealots on the natural. Zealots in the bottom as well. Dude, good Zealot run, base. I mean, MAXPAX still has map control, and Storm just gives you such good control. The thing is, you just got to keep making High Templar. And right now, this is a hero maneuver. Keeping the High Templar all clumped. No backup High Templar at home. No High Templar scattered across the map. This is a huge mistake, especially now that Ghosts are out. He's screwed. He's screwed. Okay, he runs one forward looking for feedbacks. He's got to get out. He has to pull out now. You have to get out and warp in more High Templar. He's got one Colossus out, no extended thermal lens. Oh, no. No, the rally point. MAXPAX has lost map control. Massive Zealot warp in is going to save him here. Because CLEM was about to move up. The Zealot warp in will force CLEM home, which I think is really good for MAXPAX. MAXPAX coming back in, clearing a few Widowmines. Lovely spreadies on his Zealots for the most part. That one still gets a bit of a splash, but not too bad. And he's looking for those zoning storms. Zealots in the main are going to get cleaned up. Looks like the Vikings did push the Prism away. It's over on the right side. It's going to try and drop that third base. Those tanks may end up bombing their own SCVs, but the bio is there. The Zealots not really doing what they can. EMP does land on the Prism. Vikings are over on the right side. They'll come back to clean it up. Army still posturing on the front at the same time. Finally, the Prism is going to go down. Clem having to work overtime to shut this down, but at the end of the day, ahead 4,000 resources and the units lost, and whilst MAXPAX is on 84 probes, he's got a big macro setup. He needs to spread his High Templar. 3 High Templar, 2 Colossus, 9 Stalker, 17 Zealots. The bio coming forward right here. The bio comes forward. Okay, landing a few big hits. The Zealot's going to try to pull back the Colossus, Stalker, Archon Zealot trying to pull back. That Archon's going to go down. Dude, he's trying to make more next side, but MAXPAX, you can't keep losing these units. And for me, it's the High Templars the issue, guys. I know this is something I harp on about a lot, but if you're playing High Templar at this position, they're an amazing resource. You should have a High Templar here, have a High Templar here, and be able to use those by bringing them in from spready angles, surprising angles. But without those on the backup, he's going to be punished. If Clem gets one good fight, he could turn it in his favor. He didn't have vision. The High Templar, he tried to storm behind the grass, but the Colossus had pulled back, so he couldn't cast it. So the High Templar ran too far forward, got itself killed. A Colossus stumbles into the army. Too many micro mistakes here in this game at the end of this savagely long, epic series between these two. And it's 90 probes for MAXPAX, which gives me hope he can rebuild. But dude, he's got to stop building probes, or he's not going to have enough army supply, even at max out. The most supply-efficient unit you get in the game is High Templar. The reason you can play 90 probes is if you've got High Templar scattered around the map. He does not have High Templar scattered around the map. He has 2 High Templar clumped together, none that aren't on control groups. MAXPAX just is not well practiced with a late-game Storm style. Oh, good Storm does come in, though. That was nice. Stalker Zealot coming in as well. Nice Storm there. He's going to need to use that energy recharge and get a few more of these, but he's just not focusing on them. He's trying to focus on the army that he knows best. When you're in a high-pressure situation, you go back to the tools that you know best, and he knows Stalker, Zealot, Colossus, Sentry better than everything else, and that's all he's focusing on right now is MAXPAX. He doesn't have faith in those High Templar because he doesn't have the thousands of reps that he has with the Colossus, Stalker, Zealot, and that means Clem gets a Nexus. He's going to get a second one. Huge swing. Because now you've got 90 probes and nowhere to mine from. Tries to save the base, gets there too late. Stalkers will be able to take out most of the tanks. Oh my god, there's still one tank there. There's still another tank there. Oh, he does land a Storm though. High Templar comes forward. Zealot's coming in for the flank. The Colossus getting jumped on the Prism. Is going to be able to warp in. Nice pickups on the Colossus. Beautiful micro for MAXPAX. Hold the phone. Clem gets a double base snipe, but he does lose a lot of his army. Clem fighting, MAXPAX, sorry, fighting back, but it's 5 base against 5 bases when this one comes up. MAXPAX needs to get back to mining, rebuild his Nexus, try to max out. His army is just always so drastically behind in this game. And keep in mind, it's 2-1 for him against 2-2 for Clem. By the time his 3-2's done, Clem will be on 3-3. So Clem maintaining that upgrade advantage that he's had for the majority of this series. And once again, there's 1 High Templar in the army. That's great. But I got to say, you got Gas Bank. Why is there not a High Templar here or down here or here on the middle? Those scattered High Templar off control group are one of the best map control flanking kind of setup things. Very different to the normal army management you use, but one of the most effective. And it's something that he's lacking right now, and it's just a little bit of a bummer because if you want to play this high in economy, you need those stalling mechanisms, and that's what the spread out High Templar is for. It's to force the Terran back, force them to not chase into you without very carefully clearing everywhere for those ambush storms ahead of time. Now the High Templar does warp in. It's warping in a few more, which I do like to see. It's also the earlier you get those High Templar, the more storms they get banked up, which means they can tank an EMP and still land Storm afterwards. He's got one there, but you can see he has to use the Storm. Doesn't have that much energy. 2 more available. Army goes south for Clem. Clem's going to deny the middle base yet again. Fusion Core, 2 more command centers coming in. Clem's in the driver's seat. He's got room for error, but hold that. Stalkers, Colossus trying to fight back. Nice Storm, but EMP lands to counter it. Where's the backup Storms? I don't think there is any, guys. It looks like it's just Stalkers there. Another EMP lands on those High Templar. There's no... Oh, he brought in a flanking High Templar, but it didn't Storm from behind. The disaster there. One comes in from the top left as well, but they aren't quite there. Damn, dude. Clem gets the 2-0. He wins the first series, narrow 2-1, loses the second one, narrow 2-1, wins the final series, rather confident 2-0. That there was a series of StarCraft. I'm going to put this all up in one giant video. If you've just watched the whole thing, thanks for hanging out and being a lovely no-life StarCraft fan like myself. Don't forget, if you enjoy games like this... Oh, kitty cam's on this scene, by the way. Say hello to IKEA. That's our foster kitty we're taking care of at the moment. If you guys want to support the channel, please check out the Patreon. Links below in the description. Special thanks to Border for Life and everyone else here who's been allowing us to just keep on pumping out the content. Thank you so much for your ongoing support. Hope you have a lovely day, and goodbye and good night.